Calling to order the Municipality of Monroeville regular council meeting for Tuesday, July 14, 2026. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Sharon.
Mayor Biondo.
Here.
Mr. Hizzy.
Here.
Mr. Poach.
Here.
Mr. Washington.
Here.
Mr. Crut.
Here.
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mrs. Ramsey.
Here.
Mr. Graziani.
Here.
Mr. Ratcher.
Here.
Mr. Rock. Mr. Hugus.
Here.
Mr. Sedlak.
Here.
Mr. Weldon.
Here.
Mrs. Lang.
Here.
All right, and tonight we're going to have two public comment periods. I know I spoke with a number of you before the meeting. The first public comment period that we're about to have is for agenda items only. So if you're here to talk about the library, that will be at the end of tonight's meeting. And the rules apply to both these comment periods. It's a 5 minutes, and you must be a Monroeville resident to speak. So right now, if you have a comment on a proposed agenda item, now is your time.
No matter which one.
That one's good. Yeah.
Jennifer Hoff.
Here, let's do. Let's put it to the side again. Greg, can you help us out? Thank you.
He was a roadie. You can do that.
Thank you.
I'm a keyboard boy.
No, he was a roadie.
Is that good?
Yes. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Jennifer Hoff, 110 Fox Plain Road.
Okay.
Do I need to do that?
That's it. You're good.
Okay.
All right. Can we? All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, council members. My name is Jennifer Hoff, and I, along with my family, reside at 110 Fox Plain Road. My family, starting with my grandmother, then my father, and now me, has owned and lived in this single-family home for over 60 years. My father, who is now 72 years of age, was raised in this home and attended the Gateway School District. I am standing here tonight because the proposed site plan for this new storage facility across the street from my property and home completely ignores my property rights. I am fully aware that on the municipal map, my property has been swept into a commercial boulevard classification. For over half a century, our home has functioned exclusively as a residential sanctuary. Under Pennsylvania law, our 60-year residential use is a legally protected grandfathered status that cannot be erased by a line on a map. This council has a legal duty to protect the welfare of its residents. Monroeville Zoning Council Section 35998 explicitly authorizes this council to enforce performance standards to mitigate actual real-world impacts like traffic, glaring lights, noise, and unsightliness that this project will bring. Leaving the front of this facility wide open with a transparent chain-link fence violates the intent of that code. If you look at the map, they are landscaping the sides of the facility to protect their apartment complex, but leaving the front facing my home wide open with a transparent chain-link fence. The developer has physical options to mitigate this impact without blocking access to their roads to their business. I request that any final approval be conditioned upon replacing the transparent chain link fence with a solid, high opacity, 6-foot or higher commercial fence and equipping the entrances and exits with solid privacy gates. For the actual access gates, they can use solid, high opacity security gates that use heavy duty aluminum or commercial vinyl privacy slats that operate on standard automatic tracks. When closed, they look like a solid 6-foot privacy wall that completely blocks headlight glare. Second, for the front stationary fence sections, including the center island between the entrance and exit road, I ask that they install a matching heavy-duty privacy fence backed by steel reinforcements. This commercial-grade material is physically unbreakable, eliminates the vulnerabilities to climbing and cutting of chain-link wire, and ensures 100% visual screening. The setup improves the facility's security against break-ins while fulfilling the landscape laws to protect my home. This type of fencing and gates are a massive security upgrade, as well as they eliminate the climbing footholds and cut vulnerabilities. Second, I request that the developer create green space and evergreen screening on either sides of the entrance and exit and inside the center island that separates the entrance and exit lanes. This will help to create a buffer zone from the storage facilities. I also have concerns about the operational hours. Last week, the developers claimed they needed to check and see what other facilities in the area are doing before limiting their business hours. I have done the work and found that almost every major modern storage facility operating in Monroeville restricts customer gate access to a 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. window to prevent late night community disruption, and that operational curfews are standard for neighborhood integrated facilities in Monroeville. Security Self-Storage on Frey Road closes their gates at 10 p.m. U-Haul on Golden Mile Highway allows gate access from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Easy Storage on Massey Boulevard limits their gate hours to 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Guardian Storage on Route 22 limits their gate hours from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Guardian Storage on Haymaker Road limits their gate hours from 6 to 10 p.m. And Storage Sense on Broadway Boulevard in Monroeville also limit their gate access from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. The 10 p.m. standard is universal. The major facilities in town do not operate 24/7. They electronically lock their gates at 10 p.m. sharp to prevent noise and traffic and to mitigate security liabilities. AR Building Company has chosen to build a storage facility across from a residential home, and this is all the more reason they should limit their hours and show respect for the residents they will disrupt. If those massive corporation operations can successfully protect Monroeville neighborhoods by locking their gates at 10 p.m., this developer can do the exact thing on Fox Plant Road. A 24/7 footprint is not necessary. It is a choice that will invite the middle of the night traffic, roaring, rolling doors, backup beeping, loud banging, conversations, and severe headlight glare of idling vehicles. The garbage truck alone already wakes me every Thursday at 4:30 a.m. I cannot imagine the banging and awakenings from a 24/7 storage facility. I am asking this council respect my family's 60 years of residence. Please make your vote conditional upon a 6-foot privacy fence and privacy gates, center island evergreen landscaping, and a hard gate access restriction that follows the precedent of all the other storage facilities in Monroeville from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to submit your statement for the record?
Sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sharon, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just open it up to any other public comment on agenda items. Seeing nothing, we will close that public comment period. We didn't have an executive session, so if you have an agenda, we did not have one, so no need for an announcement. Next is approval of minutes. Before you have for your approval, the Citizens Night meeting of June 2nd, 2026, the council work session of June 2nd, 2026, and the council regular meeting of June 9th, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, those carry. That motion carries. Next, we have approval of reports of tax collections. That's the green section of your packet. Any comments or questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Roll call, Sharon?
Mr. Hizzy?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
Aye.
Mr. Crett?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have the list of bills and budget transfers. Any comments or questions? Yep, we have
Make
a
a
motion.
motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, Sharon.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Crett?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Hizzy?
Aye.
And the payroll report. Comments or questions? There a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
That motion's to approve.
Yes.
Yes.
Roll call, Sharon.
Mr. Hizzy?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
Aye.
Mr. Crett?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
And that's approved. Next, we have the approval of capital improvement list of purchase orders. That's the white section of your packet, and those are listed before you. Comments or questions?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Roll call, Sharon.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Crett?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Hizzy?
Aye.
That motion passes as well. Next, we have the approval of bids and proposals. Mr. Graziani?
Yeah, the first would be a motion to accept the sale of surplus equipment through Gov Deals.
Make a motion.
approve.
Second.
Roll call, Sharon?
Mr. Hizzy?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
Aye.
Mr. Crett?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
And item 11, Mr. Graziani.
This would be a motion to approve 26-05-TS William Penn Highway Coordination Modernization Project bid.
I'm looking, where is my,
Comments, questions, or motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
oh, yeah.
Roll call, Sharon.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Crett?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Hizzy?
Aye.
Next up, we have approval of motions number 12, Mr. Graziani.
A motion to reschedule the August Citizens Night and Council Work Session meeting from Tuesday, August 4th to Thursday, August 6th, 2026, due to the National Night Out.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, Sharon.
Mr. Hizzy?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
Aye.
Mr. Crett?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
That motion carries. So next month, the Citizens Night will be on Thursday, August 6, 2026. Number 13.
Next is a motion to authorize the advertising of a public hearing and an ordinance for the adoption of the 5-year capital improvement program for the years 2027 through 2031.
Public hearing ordinance.
And this is just to authorize the
Motion-
advertisement.
Yes, motion to, yeah, motion, please.
We don't have a list for,
No, this is just to advertise.
Yeah, this is just to advertise.
Advertise the ordinance to pass it, so we'll still see it, yeah. Right. Yeah, I made the motion to.
Second.
Roll call, Sharon.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
aye.
Mr. Crett?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Hizzy?
Aye.
That motion carries. Next up, we have the approval of development applications. Number 14 and 15 kind of go together. Mr. Graziani.
Yeah, the first is 26-1-ST Clean Express Auto Wash Site Plan Approval. Applicant is requesting site plan approval pursuant to the Monroeville zoning ordinance number 2779 as amended to permit the construction of a vehicle wash business and associated site amenities. The property address is 4111 William Penn Highway and is identified as tax parcel 743-H-040 in the Boulevard zoning district. The Planning Commission recommends approval of this application, and the next, again, is, the first was the site, and the next is the conditional use approval.
And this, we had a public hearing on last Tuesday. This is a car wash, which is one half of the old Rite Aid facility on 22. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Do we want to have the applicant come forward? If not,
I'd like to see the picture again.
will the applicant step forward? And just state your name for the record.
My name's Bill Moldovan, Moldovan. I'm with Kimley Horn, representing Clean Express Auto Wash.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Jared, can you just zoom in on the, thank you. You know what I'm saying.
And I can certainly walk through it again if you'd like, or if you have specific questions, I'm here to
Well,
answer
well,
those.
Mike and I was talking, and we both questioned the easement. If cars are leaving there to make a left turn towards 22 and it backs up, then nobody can get out and make a right turn. And we thought if it was possible to put a third lane in there, a dedicated right turn, and when it backs up, making a left turn, people still be able to go out there and make a right turn. And we feel that that's a critical intersection right there.
I don't think you make it.
On Center Road.
Okay.
Are we talking on center?
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Center Road.
I mean, the driveway, there's a, right coming in, left coming in, but only, one lane going out, just to relieve
There's a wall here.
any traffic, because it could be challenging once the light releases on 22.
Yeah, and I don't, we've looked at that in terms of the available space on the site to do that, to make a left turn, or a dedicated left turn lane, or two turns out. And given the space for stormwater management and stacking and parking, we didn't see it feasible. We did present our findings from a traffic perspective to the municipality's traffic engineer, presented stacking, queuing for all motions or movements out of that intersection. And there were no comments from the municipality's engineer in regards to that being a specific concern that they wanted us to mitigate. There was a comment about potentially adding signage on Center Road to let vehicles on Center that are approaching 22 know that they should not block the intersection. I think that's the mitigation that that's required at that particular location. I fall back on the fact that we did look at it. We presented it to the municipality's traffic engineer, and it wasn't it wasn't something that they recommended. I'm acknowledging that it could be challenging. It's no different than the Rite Aid site that's there today. From a vehicular standpoint, we have less trips for both of these developments than we did for the Rite Aid. So we're reducing traffic at that intersection. But we did not look at it
Can you
as
put that
feasible.
back up on the screen for 1 second? Now, the traffic will be able to make a right coming out of the car wash to get to 22
Oh, in this location,
Yeah.
correct?
up here, yeah, up where the coffee shop will be,
Yes, they can make a right.
out of the car wash.
Yes.
They'll be able to make a right and
Yes.
then to get to 22 if they
Yeah,
want to.
if they
go
would like, and there are
west.
cross-access agreements. So if somebody's leaving the car wash, knows they want to get to 22, they can make a right-hand turn, come to
Okay.
the adjacent parcel, and make that right-hand turn onto 22.
Okay. I didn't know if there was going to be two separate entities there. Were
Now, there'll be agreements.
common driveway.
There will be agreements in place.
Okay. That's it.
Any other comments, questions? Do we want to make a motion?
I'll motion to approve. Yeah, I'll second.
Oh,
We have, is that for both 14 and 15?
Yeah. It would have to be.
yes.
Roll call, Sharon.
Mr.
Yes.
Hizzy?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
Aye.
Mr. Crut?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
Thank you. Good luck with the project.
Thank you very much.
Number 16 and 17, Mr. Graziani?
Yeah, this is the applicant. We've had addressed by a resident tonight, 26-2-ST Fox Plan Self-Storage Site Plan Approval. Applicant is requesting site plan approval pursuant to Monroeville zoning ordinance number 2779 as amended to permit the construction of a self-storage facility and associated site amenities. The property address is 113 Fox Plan Road and is identified as tax parcel 856-F-351 in the Boulevard zoning district. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Is the applicant present?
Yeah.
You're here somewhere.
There we are, yeah. I thought we saw him, yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Emily Hughes.
So I do have an updated landscape plan.
Could you state your name? please?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Emily Mitchell. I am with AR Development Company, AR Building Company. My address is 310 Seven Fields Boulevard, Suite 350, Seven Fields, PA. So, as you know, we are proposing 72 self-storage units. We did go back and look at our plans following our neighbor's discussion last week and heard her comments and wanted to make sure we did address them. So we have agreed.
Upside down.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
We have agreed to limit our hours to 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And we also have added additional landscaping here to the south of the plan, including 4 additional evergreen trees and an oak tree, to make sure that we are shielding any additional lighting that may come towards her property in this location.
Okay.
Yeah, across here.
Any comments or questions for the applicant?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I would rather see a pine tree instead of an oak tree. An oak tree isn't gonna block the light. You know, the oak tree's gonna be high and the light's gonna come right under it. If you change that to some kind of a pine tree, I think it would be better for the neighbor.
Absolutely. So we did have 4 pine trees and an oak tree, but if we wanted to do 5 pine trees, we can do that as well. That's understood.
Thank you.
As a resident asked about the gating, has that changed?
No, we are still using the chain link fence, which I believe is kind of in the ordinance of what you would expect for a storage facility. The reason we would like to retain that is for security purposes so that you could see inside the property and outside the property. However, I do fully understand her comments. We do want to be good neighbors, which is why we suggested the additional pine trees, and we'll make them all pine trees in that corner of the property next to, which would be facing her property.
Paul, everything, you're the ordinance expert.
I recommend leaving the chain link fence as well. If you put a 6-foot solid fence there, I think it would look very prison-like, because it's so close to Fox Plan Road. It'd be like a solid wall there. So I think the chain link fence would be better.
All right, thank you.
What
Anything
about the hours of operation?
7 to 10.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Oh, is there space to put trees in the island between the gates, she mentioned?
Yes, we can. We can put additional trees if that's what is
Jared, could you
required.
Shrubs might be
We
better
would
for
just
our
need to make
location.
sure that we could get our fence working, but we'll double check that and make sure that we can fit it. Sorry.
I think shrubs might be better for that location than trying to put trees in there. I think even adding more pine trees at that corner, I think 10 years from now, I think it's gonna be a problem with the low branches coming out into the road. So, a pine tree in that center island, I think we're trying to put too much in there.
But shrubs, definitely.
Shrubs you can do, that would help block, something is, maybe 4 feet high, block headlights, but it won't get 30 feet tall.
Does that have to be in writing, or?
I can work that out with them. If you make it part of the resolution and the motion, we can get that done.
It's on the record
Yeah.
right
It
now,
is.
so I mean, we just have to update the final resolution.
Are you okay with that?
I prefer American
Come on, yeah.
They stay narrow but get tall.
Okay.
And when you talk about the lighting, that lighting is gonna either spew straight down or into your, and not in the neighbor's windows.
Absolutely. We submitted the lighting plan that indicates that all of the lighting would remain on the property.
Good compromise.
Sounds good.
Can you go up to the microphone?
I can't hear,
I know chain link fence, you can put like slats in it, like privacy slats. I don't know if that's possible.
ask the developer.
I mean, it is our preference to keep some of it open so that we do have eyes in and out.
I'll be the only one looking at it though. It's not manned.
If you can see that her property is correct right here, we are yeah, okay. And we're focusing the pine trees there. If I mean, I think that would more than cover any potential lights.
So the compromise is, that too, is the bushes, the additional pine trees to the outside, but open to be able to see inside,
Security-wise.
security-wise, to do that.
No, it's on a dead end, though. It's just me looking at it.
That-
So I don't know, I don't really think that's gonna help security.
Yeah, I mean, to me, we split it. So we
Make a motion to approve with all the, with Paul Williams'
recommendations
recommendations.
inside of it.
Is that a second, Eric?
Second.
Roll call, Sharon?
Mrs. Ramsey?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
No,
Mr. Crut?
Aye.
Mr. Washington?
No.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Hizzy?
Motion carries. And good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please be a good neighbor.
Reports of municipal staff, Mr. Ratcher.
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Graziani.
Nothing additional.
Dr. Lang.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Hugus.
No, sir.
All right. And next up, we have public comment. I did not bring my script back this week, but the same rules apply. Just be polite. Everybody did a great job last time, and I really appreciate it. Please be polite. Let everybody have their turn. 5 minutes to speak. You must be a Monroeville resident. When you step forward, state your address. I have a list here that I'm going to go through first. Some of the people that had already signed up were on the list, so everybody's only speaking one time. We'll start with Jacob Grants.
Can I show you my ID?
Sure.
I would much prefer. My family has received some threats, so I
The,
would prefer to not say my address on TV.
we flew to Denver and then I can't remember if we were living in North Carolina or Arizona at the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was in the military.
State your name.
Howdy, folks.
Just state your name for the record.
My name is Jacob Grants. I moved to Monroeville in 2021, but I'm a good old boy from Armstrong County. And by golly, the Lord has blessed me to be a part of this community. I am a coach, a Sunday school teacher, a proud Gateway Gator parent, and a pretty decent set of hands when you need something heavy moved. I was here to speak last week, but unfortunately I didn't get that chance, and I'm actually looking at it as a blessing. Because the speech I was going to deliver last week was about how tough I am, rather than how strong we can all be together. I realized this week that strength isn't measured by how loudly we fight our enemies, but how kindly we treat our neighbors. With that in mind, I'd like to respond to something that was last week said, at least in part, about me. I was one of the people that was not so kind to Mr. Crut and Mr. Williams at the library meeting. I'd like to set an example and try to start doing my part to bring this community back together. I'm going to be a man and apologize for my behavior because that's the manliest thing you can do. So I am sorry to both Mr. Crut and Mr. Williams for the way I acted that night. It was an overreaction, and it is not the way I act normally. And you know what? It feels pretty good to apologize for something I did out of an angry overreaction, especially when it's an apology that can help this community. I'm sure if we sat around a fishing hole or played a game of poker, we'd find a lot of things we have in common. But I carried a lot of anger into that meeting because the word groomer is a personal attack on me. According to Mr. Crut, I have been groomed since I was 3 or 4 years old when my single mother came out of the closet. I've been around gay people my entire life. I've even seen them kiss. And you know what? It didn't stop me from being a straight, God-loving man. In fact, there's a lot of things that having a lesbian mother did not stop me from doing. It did not stop me from being captain of my high school football team, or deadlifting 700 pounds, or shooting a 10-point buck, or changing my own oil, or doing any other thing a good old boy does. And it also didn't stop me from standing up for people when they need it. That's what being a man is about. Taking accountability. Changing your mind is not woke. Admitting you were wrong is not weakness. It's heroic. And for those council members who supported moving that display, I believe you have a chance to show real leadership, not by digging in, but by listening to all your constituents, not just the ones who agree with you on social media. A lot of people invoked the words of Jesus Christ last week, but nobody mentioned the golden rule, possibly the most universally accepted phrase in the Bible by Christians and non-Christians alike. In everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. And if you're not religious, Fred Rogers put it this way. There are 3 ways to ultimate success. The first way is to be kind. The second way is to be kind. And the third way, you might have guessed it, folks, it's to be kind. You'd be surprised how good it can feel to care about other people. I reckon the heart of this issue isn't the library or religion or how long you've lived in Monroeville. The heart of this issue is kindness. The question being asked is, do our fellow community members deserve kindness? I, for one, am man enough to say that gay and trans and non-binary kids in this community deserve kindness. And librarians deserve kindness. And every member of this council deserves kindness. I don't look at anyone in this room as my enemy, even if they would like to look at me as theirs. Monroeville deserves to be in the spotlight for innovation and service and community, not this. You can give them a better story to tell. A story of acceptance and humility instead of a story filled with hate. When June comes around next year, all you have to do to fix this is be kind. That's it. That's real masculinity. That's what a patriarch should aspire to do. I promise you, you cannot feel stronger than when you're standing up for a group of kids. You might just save someone's life, and that's what heroes do. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Tony Walker. I don't think Tony's here. Tony Walker here? No. All right.
No, I didn't see her.
Next up, Pastor Buck.
Hi, guys. Give honor tonight to the mayor and everyone here. And I'm at 101 Mall Boulevard. I've been a pastor in Monroeville for about 30 years.
And just state your name for the record.
In good standing, Bruce Schaefer, also known as Pastor Buck. Tonight, my issue would be this, that speaking the truth in love and kindness, and standing up for those who don't have a voice to stand up for themselves. I just put this little thought together. We don't let 12-year-olds drive cars. We don't let 6-year-olds vape. We don't let 9-year-olds buy liquor. 7-year-olds aren't allowed to watch rated R movies back in my day. Why would we expose anyone's children to sexual content at an early age when their minds aren't developed yet? It's opening a door to sexual confusion. As a society, we make age-based decisions because we know children process information differently than adults. The question isn't whether adults should be free to discuss these issues. The question is whether taxpayer-funded programs should introduce complex topics about sex and gender to very young children before many parents believe their children are developmentally ready. Parents have different beliefs about sexuality, gender, and family. In a free society, these conversations belong first with the parents, not government institutions. Libraries should encourage reading, literacy, history, science, imagination. They should avoid programming that families reasonably see as taking a position on a contested moral or social questions for very young children. Every person deserves dignity and respect. No child should bully another child because of his identity or because of their family. But treating every person with respect does not require public institutions to present every view from gender or sexuality to preschool or elementary age children. It's about asking what is developmentally appropriate for young children and respecting parents' role in guiding conversations about sexuality and identity. Teaching children to be kind to everyone is something I fully support. But kindness does not require introducing them to complex topics about sexuality, gender to first graders. Those are conversations many parents believe should happen at home and at an appropriate age. As a Christian, I believe God created humanity male and female, and that children are a gift from God to be protected and nurtured by adults. But even if someone does not share my faith, I believe we can agree that young children deserve innocence, Parents deserve to guide these conversations, and the public institution should exercise great care before introducing complex topics such as sex and gender. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Buck. Kim Rader. Kim Rader.
Pastor Buck, do you want to submit your statement?
Hi, Kim Rader, 115 Old Suffolk Drive. I am here to support the Monroeville Public Library and their remarkable staff. Last week, many people spoke about allowing parents to guide their children's choices in books and media. I think we can all agree on that. But don't presume to make those choices for me. This city council does not know what I want my children to read. And it's not your job, and you're not qualified librarians. Public libraries are not just buildings of books. They are the infrastructure of democracy. As government entities, public libraries are bound by the First Amendment, which protects free speech and expression and includes the corollary right to receive information. That means patrons have a constitutional right to access ideas. Libraries cannot remove, hide, or restrict books simply because board members, staff, or politicians find those viewpoints offensive or uncomfortable. This is not a matter of opinion. Courts have ruled on it. In Wichita Falls, Texas, and Huntington Beach, California, judges found that relocating books from a children's section based on their viewpoint was unconstitutional viewpoint discrimination and censorship. You are not the first council to attempt this. There is also the case of Terry Leslie, who was fired in July 2023 in Campbell County, Wyoming, for refusing to remove books with LGBTQ themes and content. She filed a federal lawsuit alleging her First Amendment rights were violated. The case concluded in October 2025 with a $700,000 settlement in her favor. But I want to speak directly to the question of representation, because that is what this is ultimately about. You were elected to represent this community, all of it, not just the loudest voices in the room on any given Tuesday night. Not only the families whose experiences are already reflected everywhere they look, every constituent. That includes families with a gay teenager who comes to the library because it is one of the few places in this town where they see themselves reflected. It includes the child with two moms who wants to find a book that looks like her family. It includes parents like myself who are raising children to understand that the world is wide and full of people whose lives look different from our own. Libraries are tasked with providing materials that are appropriate and represent their whole community. When you remove a pride display, you are not protecting children. You are telling some children in this community that families that look like theirs are something to be hidden. That's not neutrality. That is a message, and it is the government sending it, which is precisely what the First Amendment forbids. I support your individual right to choose not to read those books to your children or grandchildren, but it is an overreach of your position on the council to force your choices and belief system on me. Libraries are for everyone. Our library should have books for every kind of family, every kind of person, and every kind of experience that exists in our diverse community. The censorship of this display does not reflect Monroeville's values. It erases them. And your constituents deserve better.
Thank you, Mr. Rader. David Gamble Moore.
Hey, Kim.
Kim, do you want to put that?
Oh, so if you guys have written comments and you want to provide them to Sharon, you are more than. We would prefer that, actually.
Better, yeah.
David Gamble Moore.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Ellen Zerba, she submitted a statement earlier. Dakota Kuhn. Dakota Kuhn. Neil Nola.
Neil's here.
Neil's here.
There we go.
Neil Nola, 536 Shoemaker Drive, Monroeville, Pennsylvania. First, I would like to thank everyone up there. You guys don't have an easy job, but you know it's an important job. And I personally want to thank each one of you for everything that you do for our community. That being said, first, I got one other thing first. Do you not have to be a resident to speak? That's just a question.
You do have to be you do have to be
A resident.
or business or taxpayer or taxpayer.
Or taxpayer.
Or taxpayer, business owner.
And he does pay taxes.
Taxpayer and business owner, yes.
A church pays taxes? Just just curiosity.
It does. That one does.
Classified as a hotel.
That one does.
Okay, sorry.
Enough, Neil.
Just a question. I'm sorry to.
Stick to your point. Go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, my biggest problem is I'm not sure why we just can't all get along. Like let people be what they are. Don't try to force your beliefs, your feelings, your God on anybody else. It's not your right to force your religion or anything onto me or any other member of the community. That's not even my biggest problem, though. My biggest problem is, I think we should get along, but my biggest problem is I came last week and I watched Channel 2, Channel 4, and Channel 11, and probably newspapers. I think that's a problem. Why are we in the paper for something negative? I think that's a reflection on us that's probably not good. You know, it doesn't matter what everybody thinks. It's a matter of, I don't really want those people in this room. Because they weren't here to celebrate. They were here to tear us down. That's not appropriate. And I can say why I think that whole thing transpired, but I'm more worried about the process of how it transpired. The process was somebody got a message, somebody walked into the library and told them to take down a display. Was there a vote? I don't think so. We need to follow the process if we want if we don't want Channel 4 here. We did not follow a process. That's what gets you in trouble. We are supposed to be protecting our community, not putting it out there for the entire public. Everybody that I work with is coming up to me and saying, "What's up with Monroeville? That's terrible. I don't like that. I don't need to have to defend Monroeville. Monroeville's awesome. I don't have to defend it. And you guys should be protecting it. You should be protecting it no matter what. That's your job. Your job is to protect Monroeville, protect our reputation. When somebody walks into that library and says, take that display down, I don't even think it's your right to do it, but at least you should have a vote before you walk in there. So that everybody here and everybody in the whole community knows where each one of you all stand on it. And then we can make our own mind up then. But without a vote, we don't know where you stand. We have no idea where any of you stand. We think we know. We think we're figuring things out, but I want to know. Could we have a vote after this meeting to see where everybody stands? Why not have a vote? Let's see where you stand. I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Noel. Dr. Mandel Singh. I don't think Dr. Singh's here. Dr. Singh, you here?
No.
All right, Gregory Holtz.
Gregory Holtz. I live on 848 Cottonwood Drive, Monroeville, PA 15146. Hello and good evening. My name is Gregory Holtz. And first of all, I'd like to say that I believe that Jesus Christ is God and my Savior. As well, I'm a citizen here in Monroeville. I reside here with my wife and my 3 children, with my 4th baby on its way. I appreciate what the Monroeville Library provides. My family loves going to the library to rent out books, go to the many events such as the mini golf, which we thoroughly enjoy, and we believe that the Monroeville Library is a staple in the community. However, as a concerned father, I believe that the pride display in the children's section of the Monroeville Library needed to be removed. And further, I believe that it has no need to be in the children's section of the library. And though I'm a man of faith, I understand everyone does not share my viewpoint. Thus, I will root my objection to the pride display outside of my faith in an attempt to have a goodwill conversation. The children's section at the Monroeville Library generally serves children from birth up to age 11. Within this age range, children are still having a developed mind. In this time, this is when their minds need education and information about mathematics, language, reading comprehension, and much more. However, this is not the time for the topic of sexuality or sexual identity. There is no need for that topic, which is a private conversation, to be advertised to young children at the public library. For example, I'll read to you an excerpt from the Gay BCs, which is on the display. B is for bi. You can shout it out. I'm not going to finish that. D is for drag. T is for trans. It's a brave step to take and live as a gender you know as innate. Thus, the author wants the reader to repeat and insert themselves into the ideology of sexual identity. And just through these excerpts, it's clear to see that these are adult concepts. Now, I want you to imagine that we're reading this book to 1 and 5-year-old children, which is the intended audience for the author. This prompts the question, why are we teaching young children about sexual preferences when they are just learning how to spell their own name? Why does the Monroeville Library have a book that's defining what trans is, defining what bi is, defining what drag is to children who yet don't even fully understand their gender? Again, adults are developing enough to have an understanding of these sexual topics. Thus, there's little to no contest about having these displays in adult sections. Adults can handle complex topics. Children cannot. Children deserve an age of innocence not violated by adult sexual desires. And this is not about love. It's about respect. In the same way that you would not want me to go to the library and preach the gospel, it's the same way I don't want sexual topics for my children. I want to thank you all for your time, your consideration, and you have my full support for what you've done. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Holt. Mallory Grants.
Good evening. My name is Mallory Grants, and I live with Jacob Grants, so you can confirm my address, as I will not be sharing it because I have received death threats on social media from people whose hate is disguised as Christianity. Last week, I mentioned that I was a teacher, and I'd like to share a story that has stayed with me. One year, a student asked whether my rainbow glasses meant LGBTQ. I told him yes, and he asked why I wore them. And I simply replied, I wear rainbows every chance I get, so that anyone who sees me knows that I am a safe person. Every day I try to present myself to the world as someone who is safe, welcoming, and accepting. And that's what we strive to do at MAPCA. We create a place where people can show up exactly as they are and know that they are safe, seen, and loved. And that is exactly what we did this past Saturday. Tonight I want to share with you all what we did this past Saturday night. Now, after hateful rhetoric online showed a shocking lack of an understanding of what community truly means, because the LGBTQ community, the faith community, and the Monroeville community are not separate things, but people who live together, work together, worship together, and call this town home. And after it sparked waves of attacks against MAPCA and our neighbors, including threats to throw us in a wood chipper, and also, protesters would attend undercover, which frankly, I would like to know what undercover at a Pride festival would look like to those who oppose us. But our community responded with support, not fear. We launched a fundraiser to help cover the cost of additional security. The people of Monroeville stepped up. We reached our goal in 6 hours and ultimately raised more than twice what we had asked for. On behalf of MAPCA, I would like to extend a sincere thank you to our mayor, the city manager, and the chief of police for helping ensure the safety of everyone attending by providing 2 police officers who were there for the duration of the event. Over the course of the festival, more than 600 people came through. We welcomed over 70 vendors, businesses, organizations, and churches from Monroeville and the surrounding area. They came to send a simple message to the LGBTQ community. You are valued, you are welcome, and you matter. Festival goers of all ages enjoyed aerial acts, a song and dance troupe, solo performers, bands, and numerous drag artists. Children and adults alike filled the festival with laughter, connection, and joy, and absolutely no talks of sex. And throughout the entire event, one thing remained constant, something I rarely feel at other festivals: love. At our Pride celebration, people were welcomed with warmth, acceptance, and open arms. Everyone felt safe. Everyone felt accepted. There was no judgment, no anger, no arguing, no fear. There was only love. At the end of the evening, Pittsburgh's First Lady of Drag, Kiera Darshell, invited anyone who wanted to dance up onto the stage. She asked their name and encouraged them to join in. The joy radiating from that stage was palpable. I've attended all kinds of festivals throughout my life: church festivals, community fairs, neighborhood celebrations, and many of them are missing one important thing: that feeling that every single person belongs. On Saturday night, everyone belonged. And when the event was over, I found myself crying some of the happiest tears I have ever cried. I was exhausted, fulfilled, and overwhelmingly proud of what MAPCA and the Monroeville community had accomplished. And when I drove home that night, I felt a twinge of sadness that for those of who call our community sinners, not because I'm angry with them, but because they will never fully understand the joy that we experienced. They may think they know what love and acceptance feels like, but until they experience a space where all people are welcomed exactly as they are, they will never truly understand what we felt. So tonight I want to speak directly to the Christians who are here in this room and listening at home. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, excuse me if I mispronounce it, I'm not as Christian as some others, verses 13 through 15, Paul writes, "Live in peace with each other, and we urge you, brothers and sisters, warn those who are idle and disruptive. Encourage the disheartened. Help the weak. Be patient with everyone. Make sure that nobody pays back wrong for wrong, but always strive to do what is good for each other and for everyone else." I believe that is the call that we are called to do today. I pray that intolerance is forgiven. I pray that hearts are softened and eyes are open to the people around you. I pray that those who can hear me will choose to encourage rather than condemn, to help rather than harm, and to do good for one another and for everyone else. I pray they will not spend their nights condemning librarians, attacking their neighbors in the comments online, or twisting the words of Jesus in an attempt to control others, because that is not what God wants for us. Love is. And on Saturday night, love won. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grants. Wendy Frace.
Here we go. Hi. My name is Wendy Fraze. I live at 614 Chinaberry Road, Monroeville, Ward 7, and I have lived in Monroeville since 1998. I am here tonight to voice my support for the Monroeville Library, the staff, the patrons, the volunteers, and the library board. I request that we allow our trained librarians to make decisions in regards to which books to purchase, to highlight, and to display in our library. The library staff and board should not be harassed nor threatened with funding cuts when certain people or citizens feel their version of reality is threatened. Our library services all our citizens. The library staff monitors circulation, reports are run, books that are not being checked out, those are the ones that deserve to be removed, so that the ones that people actually want to read can be checked out. Displays are thoughtfully considered by our trained library professionals for our libraries and community's best interests. My sister's a librarian in another county, and I've learned that there is a science behind what's displayed and what's not, and it's all about circulation and funding. And sometimes people don't even realize what books they want to check out, but a display will show, ooh, this is available, let me read it. So there is a science behind that. I don't know it. But there has been a lot of anger and hate directed towards our wonderful library, and we need to make sure it is a safe place for everyone, including the employees. Throughout history, people have done horrific things with good intentions. Please do not be self-deceived by what you think are good intentions. Quoting any religious passage for justification for actions is not helpful and only causes more harm. Our Heavenly Creator's love is wider, deeper, more expansive, and inclusive than any of us can even begin to imagine or understand. So I hope that we not assume or proclaim what our source of all love and light would do. We are truly blessed to live in such a diverse community. This is one of the reasons I appreciate it, and I have lived here so long. I hope we will continue to celebrate that diversity and encourage it. And here's an idea. One way to do that is through books and displays and programs, all of which our library offers, and we do have a wonderful library. So I do want to voice my support for our library financially. They are the great equalizers and provide valuable resources to our community in addition to books. I ask that you not reduce funding to our library, because I know there have been some threats to do that. This is a place where all citizens can benefit, whether they choose to or not. So I do want to thank the mayor and everyone that has shown their support to our library during this difficult time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Frace. Steve Farkas.
What was her name? What was her name?
Wendy Frace.
Wendy.
Wendy, you want to submit that?
I can, but I adapted it some. Does that matter?
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.
If you could,
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Farkas. I live at 309 Hillside Avenue Extension. Good evening. I'm here to express my deep concern about the pride display in the children's section because, as everyone knows, the greatest threat facing children today is that they might discover that some families have two moms, two dads, or a child who feels a little different from everyone else. We certainly cannot allow children to encounter such radical ideas as you are not alone, your family belongs here, or people deserve kindness. Those messages could lead to dangerous consequences, like empathy. I understand that the display has been called grooming. That is a very serious accusation, and apparently the word now means putting books on a shelf that I dislike. By that standard, I was groomed by a cookbook. I opened it, I saw a photograph of chicken parmesan, and before I knew it, I was buying mozzarella, growing basil, and forcing my household to participate in a coordinated Italian food agenda. And then, of course, there is the dreaded woke agenda. I confess that I'm still unclear about what that means. As far as I can tell, it is an agenda whose main demands are that we notice other people exist, and perhaps refrain from treating them cruelly. Terrifying stuff. Today, a library displays a book about two dads. Tomorrow, we may be expected to demonstrate basic manners in public. Nobody was forced to borrow these books. Nobody was required to read them. Parents remained completely free to guide their own children. But that was evidently not enough. Some adults also wanted the power to decide what every other family's children were permitted to see. Nobody is claiming these books disappeared from the catalog. The issue is that council intervened in how these librarians chose to present materials to the public. A display is part of librarianship. It helps people discover books they might not know to search for. Telling librarians that certain lawful, age-appropriate books may remain on the shelves but must not be made visible is not neutrality. It is political interference dressed up as moderation. And that brings me to the larger issue. Borough Council has no business directing qualified librarians in how to run our community library. Council members are elected to govern the municipality, not substitute their personal taste for the professional judgment of trained library staff. The librarians understand collection development, intellectual freedom, age-appropriate materials, and the needs of the community they serve. If council can override them whenever a display offends someone's politics, then professional expertise means nothing, and the library becomes just another arm of whoever currently holds power. So my concern is not only what happened to one pride display in June. It is a precedent. Our library should be run by librarians, not by politicians frightened by the phrase woke agenda. Thank you, and I apologize for advancing the radical agenda of letting professionals do their jobs.
So, thank you, Mr. Farkas. David Morse.
Appreciate that.
Good evening. My name is David Morse, that's M-O-R-S-E, and I'm a resident of Monroeville living on Evergreen Drive in the Garden City community of our municipality. I've written out, Mr. Mayor, my remarks to ensure I stay within the 5-minute limit. I wish to join my voice with many others who have already addressed this council in support of the library and the display of books that was recently removed. I also wish to express my own concerns surrounding this incident. Penny and I have lived in Monroeville for 30 years. For 11 of those years, we resided at Northwestern Drive, and then following my retirement from Monroeville United Methodist Church, we purchased our current home on Evergreen Drive. We remained in Monroeville because of the many positive features of this community. And certainly one of those is our diversity. Cultural diversity, religious diversity, racial diversity, gender diversity, and yes, diversity around issues of human sexuality. The recent events involving our library and the council have challenged that diversity and, in my opinion, have left a stain on the social fabric of our community. It has raised questions about how serious our commitment to diversity really is. But I do not wish to dwell on the past. What happened has happened. We cannot undo that. But we can try to move forward. And as we do, a series of questions come to my mind. First, how did this happen? Who authorized this action? And who is responsible for it? There have been many social media posts on both sides of the issue. In some of those posts, there was reference to a 4-3 decision from this council. At the same time, we have been told there was no meeting, no vote, and no decision. If that is so, then these questions become even more relevant. How can any group, be they members of council, employees of the municipality, or certainly not citizens, authorize an action that is unofficial and not subject to public information, public scrutiny, and public input? I join my voice with those who have called for an investigation into these questions. And I ask this council to make a full disclosure of what went into this action. Good government is always transparent. Second, I would ask, where do we go from here? I've learned over the years that issues, even when they are issues, can also become a pretext for other agendas, sometimes even hidden agendas. Already there have been discussions about library funding, discussions that in some instances felt like veiled threats. I hope that is not so. But if it is, know that such an assault on our public library will be a blow to the integrity of the community. Libraries since ancient times have been a repository of human knowledge and cultural achievement. For centuries, going all the way back to such cities as Nineveh, Ephesus, and Alexandria, to name but a few, libraries have been the intellectual lifeblood of culture and human development. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, Jr., in one of his famous dissents, wrote of the importance of what he called the free trade in ideas. For centuries, libraries have been examples of that very activity, and in so doing, have immensely contributed to the common good. Our public library here in Monroeville is no exception to that. That important activity is sustained every day by the activity of our library and its staff. To think that there would be any good reason to threaten our library with reduced funding is simply unacceptable to any person who values truth and the free exchange of ideas. Such an action would be, in my opinion, an attack on one of the essential foundations of democracy. I urge you, the members of this council, not to go down that path. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Jim Aiello.
Jim Aiello, 1996 Butler Drive here in 6th Ward of Monroeville. Hey, I spoke last week. I too was slandered and some defamation, some things were said about me in the past week. It's irrelevant, really. I look in the mirror every day. I answer the two people in my life. I answer our Lord and Savior, and I answer my wife. So bottom line is, the truth is, we're never going to see eye to eye on this, okay? You know, you got two sides of the fence, right? Those on this side of the fence believe they have the right to push this stuff on our children, and those on this side of the fence believe you don't have a right to push it on our children. So the challenge is on you all, mayor, borough manager, and all the council members. June's going to be on us again, all right? The bottom line is, we're not saying take the books out of the library. Keep them in the library. Put them on the shelf. All right, you got to have courtesy for our side, the traditional Christian family. Okay, if you're going to put a display up, do it in a way where it's not in the children's center. And in the video I saw, there was somebody, a staff member, at a podium reading the books in a public venue that gets our taxpayer money being force-fed down our children's throat. Well, whoever it was a female at a podium reading these books to little kids that don't even know what the heck's going on, and you're feeding this stuff, but it's in a public venue where people are speaking it, and they're yelling, and look, we're never going to see eye to eye. The challenge is on you guys. We need to figure out how we're going to do this, all right? And for those of you in any of this community that are pushing hate, shame on you, all right? We love you. We don't hate you. We just have differences, okay? The bottom line is, we have differences on how we're going to raise our children, and we don't want you pushing this down our family's throat. That gentleman over there, that gentleman that got up here, he got a baby on the way. He's going to be his fourth child. Congratulations, sir. All right, I love you. All right, as a man of God, I love that man. All right, as a gay community, as a member of the gay community, I love you. The problem is, you all see love is love. But when you don't have the total agreement, you think we have hate towards you. We don't. All right? We don't hate you. We truly love you. We're all one race. We're the human race. We all come from different tribes. We all speak different tongues. All right? The bottom line is, we got to come together as a community, and there's got to be courtesy on both sides of the fence. And that's where it's at. Everybody's missing the point. People are getting up here and spinning it. They're talking about the gay life and the traditional family life. The issue is our children and our taxpayers' money. That's the issue. All right, now let's solve this as a civil community. It is. Monroeville's a great community. I've been in this community since 2002. I retired from the Marine Corps in 2002, bought a house down there on Butler Drive, and I've been in this community ever since, and I love Monroeville. But we got to come together. We should not be here. We should not be here at this podium. We should not have to be on the news. Monroeville is a doggone damn good community. And let's make it better. All right? Let's make everybody. We love everybody. It's an awesome community. But gosh, we got to stop this stuff, this bickering, and turn it on each other. Leave our children out of it. Leave our children out of it. That's it. And you guys, as the council member and the borough manager and as the mayor, God bless you. You guys got a tough job. June will be on us before you know it. You guys got to come up with a good decision here. Because as a man of God, as a dad, as a grandfather, and as a veteran, I drew my line in the sand, okay? We got to find out how we're going to deal with this, solve it, love one another, but please keep the children and our taxpayer out of it. Amen. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Mr. Aiello. Pastor Kelly.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'm Reverend Kelly Smith. I reside at 1231 Northwestern Drive. I am the third generation to live in Monroeville, and my kids are the third generation to be Gateway students. I am also grateful to be in Monroeville, and I love the diversity and the uniqueness that Monroeville offers. I am grateful for each of your services, for all that you do, regardless of whether or not we agree. I am grateful for the way that you serve. I am also deeply grateful for our library and for its staff. My children have been visiting that library regularly with their grandfather since the day they were born, and we are grateful for all of the opportunities that they've been given, and the way in which our library has become a community center is something that no other of our surrounding locations, I think, can brag. So for those of you who are part of our library, thank you. I come here as a citizen of Monroeville, taxpayer. I live here. I invest in the community, not just because of my church, but because of my life. My children go to school here. We serve this community. I'm a mom. I'm a single mom to 2 children, single, no dad, non-traditional family. And I am a lover of Jesus Christ and a pastor. I have given my entire life, 48 years of serving Jesus Christ. I love God. I love that God loves me and loves everyone. I didn't actually want to speak. I came last week simply to offer support and didn't think my voice mattered. But it was told to me this week that there were other people from other churches that wanted to voice an opinion that I didn't share. And I believe it was important for me as a pastor, as a mom, for my child to watch, and as the pastor of a community church where people watch me, to share my thoughts because it is important for me to claim my voice. I brought a visual representation of some of the Pride books that my children have on their bookshelf, many of which were included on that display. We witnessed that display in early June when it was put up, when my daughter and I were there, and I loved it, and I took a picture of it, and I shared it with my friends. It wasn't until the display had been up for 3 weeks that somebody voiced an opinion that it was inappropriate and then was forced down. These Pride books did not indoctrinate anything into my children other than the diversity of the world. These books have offered my children an education and an exposure to what we have in the world. It did not tell them anything about their own sexuality or their sexual orientation. It simply offers them diversity. These were the books that the library lifted up. I believe that the commentary on these books had nothing to do with children. Last Tuesday, I listened to voice after voice complain or argue against the books and how it indoctrinates our kids and it's bad exposure for our kids and parents should choose. But I don't believe that was the issue. If that was the issue and there were members of council that truly cared about children, if that was the issue and there were members of our community that truly cared about children, they wouldn't have made it a public and political issue. They could have gone to the library and had heartfelt conversations with the trained staff themselves. They could have reached out to any of the parents that visit that library and had conversations and learned and realized that there is a diversity of thought. It wasn't about these books, and this is not about the children. This is about claiming political power and influence and trying to gear up some sort of voice of dissension against the library, using the library as maybe what you'd call a red herring. Maybe the goal is to defund the library. Certainly, as a resident of Monroeville, I've heard this argument for 48 years. I believe that every dollar that we give to the library, which is actually very little into their main budget, is money worth spent. But maybe you're using this argument to defund the library or to cut that. Then say it. Just tell people you want to cut the funding and argue about the Pride display later. If you really care about kids, if you really care about what they're learning and what they're being exposed to, then show up in the community in places other than your own homes and your own businesses and your own places of worship. Go out on the soccer field where I am. Go to the library and read stories the way that we do. Show up and volunteer in the schools. Hug these kids that desperately need love, especially those who come from gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, and all those other letters that you like.
10 seconds.
Finally, if you really care about the kids, take the Bible away, because there's a whole lot in that Bible that is not appropriate for any child to read. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Kelly. Samuel Smith. Samuel Smith.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we thank you for giving us time to
State your name and address.
Sorry, Samuel Smith, 216 Shackleford.
Thank you.
We thank you for giving us time to talk about this event. I'm no expert on city council matters. I'm no expert on any of that. I do know some things, and there are many people who know more. I may know more than others. But one thing I can say is that a stand was taken. Being that I am a father of two, a 4-month-old and a 10-year-old, I have decisions. I make decisions for my family, and I have perspectives on how to raise my children. I can't force those things on people. I can't tell people how to live their lives. I can't direct and guide other people's children. It's not my place. But as a concerned member of the community, somebody who agrees with what many of these people have said, that the library is a place of knowledge, openness, that people can find topics that you may not find other places. Being that I'm a father and my faith that guides me, some of these books, in agreement with what others have said, and I'm not going to rehash it, but some of these topics are not appropriate for young developing minds. Books that talk about boys in dresses or the ABCs, and I'm not going to go through all those. We've talked about it before. People have seen those by now, and they've made their own decisions. When someone turns 18, you can't decide, you can't tell them. They can go to the library and check out any book they want. If a parent wants to check out one of those books for their children, that's their decision. But at the same time, we also have a responsibility to protect those children, to make sure that they are not subject to ideas that might be difficult for them to understand. And I understand that some people may disagree with that. As a parent, that's their right. But me personally, many people, seeing my friends' children that go to school with my daughter, people who see these things and may not want to speak up or are afraid to speak up. I want to be here, and many people who see my viewpoint want to be here and speak up for those. There's a difficult decision, no matter whether it was right or wrong, how it went down and who agreed with it, but it was a difficult and it was a right decision to remove those books. Previous comments from another gentleman about reading the Bible in the library. No one here on the other side would accept that. They would disagree with it. But at the same time, can there not be a place, and someone spoke about it at the last meeting, I believe a former board member, what about other virtues? What about things that go beyond pride? What about virtues of honesty, virtues of trustworthiness, things like that? Virtues that we can promote as a community that gets us together, that brings us together. This is a wonderful community, and my wife and I have had many opportunities to leave. We chose to stay, and each and every one of you here, being on the city council, you're here for a reason. And the people who have spoken and the people who have come to this are here for a reason. I pray for each and every one of you that whatever decision, whatever comes of this, whether it be in the next coming days, weeks, year, or years, that you make a decision that keeps our children in this community safe, that keeps them innocent. Topics that maybe should be discussed in private or not at all in public spaces. I would never impress my views upon anyone else's children. And to see a public space begin to do that begs the question, a place that I take my daughter to every 2 weeks to check out a book because I want her to read over the summer. I thank you for each and every one of you here, and I thank you for each and every person that came and spoke up, that voiced your opinion, whether you agree with me or not. I am thankful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Alexandra Zigar.
Alexandra Zagar, Bluegrass Circle. I am here to express my support of the Monroeville Public Library and to express my anger at the forced removal of the Pride display from the children's section in June. The Monroeville Public Library was established to serve its community. This includes any LGBTQ residents who deserve to see themselves represented in literature. By claiming that books about LGBTQ people should be hidden away and removed from public view, you've committed a blatant act of discrimination against your own constituents, whom you took an oath to serve. You also engaged in censorship, which sets an incredibly dangerous precedent moving forward. I would also like to state that Monroeville is not governed under one specific religion. Any argument that a group of books should be removed because of someone's interpretation of their faith is not a valid reason for books to be removed from a public library display. The people of Monroeville have different religions and different expressions of faith. One specific interpretation does not get to decide how the entire borough should live. The Monroeville Public Library is an amazing place. It was a welcoming place to study while I pursued my graduate degree, and I love to go there now to check out books, use the free craft supplies, and to see what's new in the art gallery. I know the Children's Library is constantly creating new events to support all of the families of Monroeville. We could all learn from our Monroeville librarians about what it really means to serve our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zigar.
Thank you.
How about two more, Sharon?
It was thought.
Okay.
Ellen McCracken. Ellen, okay.
Good evening, all people. My name is Ellie McCracken. I live on Snowball Road or Drive. I don't remember. Drive. Thank you. And I've lived there for 50 years, and sorry. Anyway, I came to thank Mr. Crutt and the council members who recognize that a broad range of concerns exists with parents in Monroeville, and to thank them for recognizing the power disparity between library board members and our young children's perceptions and discernment as well. I am actually deeply grateful to council members that multiple interests were addressed and that the alternative placements of the very controversial books to a more mature section was offered. I am surprised that reports claim the relocation of the books to more mature sections is somehow book banning. It seems like a reasoning deficit to me. Parents today bear an immense emotional burden. They are constantly told they are ultimately responsible for their children's mental health, moral development, and emotional well-being. Many parents feel a deep sense of anxiety that they might handle a complex topic poorly, or that their child will be exposed to an idea before they have the emotional maturity to process it, leading to confusion or distress. When a library prominently displays literature on sensitive topics to very young children, it can feel to a parent like the ground is shifting beneath their feet. It forces an immediate, weighty conversation that the parent may feel entirely unprepared to navigate at that moment. Moving the books to the adult or teen section relieves this ambient anxiety. It gives parents the breathing room to say, I love my child and I will guide them through the complexities of the world, but please let me do it when I know they are ready. Many parents who ask for these displays to be moved do not want to erase or hurt their LGBTQ+ neighbors. They recognize that public libraries serve everyone. However, they often feel that their own deeply held family values, religious beliefs, or cultural traditions are being sidelined in the very spaces meant for their children. To these parents, asking to relocate the books is a plea for empathy and a good faith compromise. They are saying, we want you to have access to the books that reflect your family, but we ask that you respect the boundaries of ours. By placing the books in an older section, the library honors the diverse needs of the community without making any family feel like their boundaries are being crossed the moment they walk through the door with a child. The heart of the argument? At its core, this position comes from a place of deep love and parental duty. It is the voice of parents trying to navigate a complex world, asking the community for the grace, time, and space to raise their children according to their own hearts. Thank you.
Ma'am. Thank you, Ms. McCracken. You wanna-
Enter that in the minute?
All right.
That's fine.
Shirley Ewert.
That's fine.
Yes. Okay.
Good evening. Shirley Ewert, and I reside at Mountain View Drive in Monroeville. I would like to clarify what I believe is the central issue being discussed last week in this. This is not about anyone's lifestyle, identity, or personal choices. Every member of our community deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. The issue is about the role of parents in deciding when, how, and in what context their children are introduced to different values, beliefs, and perspectives that may or may not align with those of their family. Parents have the primary responsibility for guiding their children and making decisions based on their child's age, maturity, and the values they seek to instill within their family. Many parents want the opportunity to have these conversations with their children themselves and to determine the appropriate timing and context for those discussions. When a public institution serves children, it is important to recognize that families in our community have a wide range of beliefs and values. The goal should be transparency and meaningful communication with parents so they can remain informed and involved in decisions that affect their children. My concern is not that different viewpoints exist. My concern is that displays or materials presented in a children's area of a public library may introduce topics involving values and beliefs without parents having the opportunity to decide when and how those conversations take place with their children. This conversation should not be about excluding or disrespecting anyone. It should be about transparency, communication, and respecting the important role that parents play in raising their children. Thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Ewert. We're going to take about 10-minute break here.
Thank you.
You have.
Oh, now.
So we're in recess. We're back on the record. It's still public comment. 5 minutes for Monroeville residents. Next up, we have Nate Wakefield.
And I was here last week.
Hello, Council. My name is Nate Wakefield. I live at 403 California Avenue, Monroeville. This is round 2 for me, and I didn't really get to finish last week. I like to wing things rather than write things. I know these two gentlemen. I grew up with them, and certainly my testimony last week holds truth, unfortunately. And it was about being a child. And how, as a child, I didn't even have adults guiding me, just other children, and I was gone. I was locked up at an early age, and just trouble after trouble after trouble. So my point is, as a child, and gentlemen, this is what we're looking at tonight, directing children. I have a couple of scriptures, and I'm not going to make this long, but I think that we need to hear these. And I certainly appreciate the councilman that had the strength and courage to stand up and say, listen, we don't agree with this. And I can agree to disagree with what's going on in this room. Again, I've been taught that. But the very first scripture I'm going to bring to you, and again, I'll try to do this quickly, if the phone will cooperate. It is Proverbs.
I am going to ask that you keep it to Monroeville, though.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, it is to Monroe.
Go ahead.
Okay, because it's about me in the direction of children.
Okay.
If I can get the phone to do something here. Okay, so.
Municipal item. It has to be on a municipal item.
Okay. So it says, it's Proverbs 14:12. It says, there is a way that a man seems right, but it is in the way of death. This is how I conducted myself, okay? And I'm going to come full circle when I'm going to address this council. Okay, what I did as a child was leading me to death, okay, as a very small little boy. Okay. The issue that we have here tonight is the library and these books. Okay, and I can agree to disagree. I don't want that stuff in there. Okay, I have been online, I've got into battles. Okay, I didn't say anything harsh or nasty to anyone, but I'm addressing you gentlemen, not them. Okay, something needs to be done here. Okay, and I'm an example of a child who went crazy. Okay, without proper supervision, which, again, gone. And I said last week, Bill, you may have been my enemy at one point. You're not anymore. I appreciate the courage that you have to stand up, to take the stand that you did, because these are kids on the line. And I heard a pastor in here tonight, and I'm going to address you guys, but I'm going to address her real quick. The Word of God leads and guides my life. Okay, we lead the Word of God. If I leave the Word of God out of my life, I might as well go back to being that same criminal, whatever I was. And I didn't appreciate a pastor speaking in that direction, that the Bible didn't mean anything. And yes, the Bible is a harsh word. I'm just nervous up here. I don't really like doing this stuff, but I just felt that I needed to. There actually was 3 scriptures. I'm only going to use 2 because the last one was brutal.
You got a minute left.
Yes, and I'm going to address you guys right here with this one. And it says that that authority comes from God. Okay, and you gentlemen have been placed in the point of authority. Okay, and I don't know who's Christian up there, who isn't, but God is the overseer of all. And certainly my life has shown that, because I've done a 180. These guys know me as a kid. Okay, complete 180. We need to do the right thing here. We need to protect these children. Whatever literature they want to put out, take it out of the kids section, put it elsewhere where these kids can't see it. And I don't care who battles me in here, because I'm going to stand my ground on this. You gentlemen have the final say in all this. Please do the right thing. I'm an example of a child who went crazy, who luckily was spared by the grace of God. And we need your help here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wakefield. Andrew Gresky.
Andrew Oreski, 501 Kentucky Avenue, Ward 6. Hello, Council. I appreciate your time and attention this evening. I would like to start off by telling the Council about my weekend. Saturday, we went to the Big Boy Pass by Turtle Creek. After we saw the train, we went to Monroeville Pride. My 2-year-old enjoyed both immensely. His favorite parts were seeing the police car in Turtle Creek, hearing Big Boy's whistle, seeing the bubbles, and interacting with the characters from Wicked. Throughout these public comments, I've heard myriad quotes of the Bible. So please bear with me as I quote an actual founding document of the United States, the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Therein lies the crux of my concern. Despite the arguments from the biblical scholars of Monroeville, the United States at all, is a constitutional republic and a representative democracy derived from the consent of the governed. I am the governed. We, the people, are the governed. We are celebrating the semi-quincentennial of our founders breaking away from England. Does the council know how many grievances were filed in the Declaration? It's 27. Let me list off a few of those grievances. He called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and amount and payment of their salaries. Now, based on these grievances and the actions of the council in strong-arming the removal of the Love is Love display, I should be within my rights as a patriot to throw a few gallons of Turner's tea down in Turtle Creek. I don't actually mean that. The fact of the matter remains, the United States is not a Christian nation. The United States is a secular nation comprised of Christian people and Jewish people and Muslims, Buddhists, and atheists, and lesbians, gays, queer, trans, intersex, and asexual people. All these people have the aforementioned enumerated unalienable rights that our fathers fought and died for. Finally, I would like to end with a few questions I would like on the record. Last week, a formal council person opined on the procedures on the polling of council and the executive level decisions of the municipal manager. I do not intend for these questions to be answered. I'm just asking them for the record. Does the council maintain a record of these decisions, especially when they affect day-to-day operations of buildings under the public? Do these polls affect all levels of the municipality, i.e. parks and rec or facilities? What other executive level decisions does the municipal manager make? Is there any kind of oversight? And 4, should I have been addressing the municipal manager this entire time instead of the mayor as the executive decision maker? I cede my time.
Sir. Thank you, Mr. Oreski. Elizabeth Smith.
Thanks.
Hi, my name's sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, not too close to the.
Oh, sorry.
Easy.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Smith. I live at 1044 Harvard Road. I'm here tonight in support of families who are different, families like mine. Because you see, my family is not considered a traditional family. My family was created through adoption. And while I don't pretend to know the challenges that LGBTQIA plus families face, I know what it's like to not be represented. All right, for biological reasons beyond my control, I can't have children, so I became a mother through adoption. To some, my family may seem unnatural, or some may say that I'm not my daughter's real mom or that my husband is not her real father. If you look back throughout history, some would say that women like me are deemed useless because I can't produce an heir for my husband. But thankfully, times have changed, and I'm proud of the family that I've created. I love my husband dearly, and my amazing daughter is my entire world. I believe that this is how my LGBTQIA plus brothers and sisters feel about their families. It's not easy being different. As human beings, it's natural to fear what we don't understand, but we have the option to let this fear cloud our hearts with hate or to open our minds and be willing to learn about others' point of view. Our library is an amazing resource. When my husband and I began discussing my daughter's adoption with her, the librarians went above and beyond, finding a collection of age-appropriate books that my husband and I had the choice to review and share with her. And I do want to go on record as saying my daughter and I go to the library at least twice a week. Never at any point in time was there a librarian standing by the display forcing my daughter and I to check out the books featured on the Pride display. And if you've ever visited the children's room at the library, most of the time the kids are running around, playing with toys and playing with their friends. My daughter just tells me what American Girl book she wants to read next, and I find it on the shelf, and that's what we read. No one was forcing anyone to select certain books. Just wanted to state that. But they created a great collection of books, and my husband and I had the choice to decide what we could present to my daughter. No one else made that choice for us. Our librarians went out of their way to find stories that represented our family. I believe that was the library's intention with the Pride display. Our children's librarians go to our schools and read. They bring crafts to the free lunch distribution. They create fun and free family activities. Miss Allie is probably still too busy cleaning up all of the glitter that my daughter threw everywhere when we made leprechaun traps back in March. Miss Hope, if she had $1 for every time she had to tell Jolene to sit still and keep her hands to herself during a story time, she could probably retire right now, all right? Our children's librarians, they know our community. They were simply trying to create a display to represent all families. I'm grateful for the adoption books and for the Pride books. As someone outside of the norm, I appreciate being included. I chose to raise my daughter in this inclusive community, and I encouraged 4 other young families to move to Monroeville in the past 2 years because we have incredible diversity, beautiful parks, and we have an amazing children's library. The final thing that I would like to say before I thank you for your time is at last week's meeting, I believe it was a former council member who had mentioned that there was talk years ago that the Pride display was not permitted to be placed next to the elevator. I intend to go to the municipality and look through the public records and see when was this decision made, who was on council, was there a vote for this decision that a display could not be placed next to the elevator, and do the same sanctions apply to other seasonal displays at the library? I'm very curious to know that, so I would appreciate an answer to that question. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Missy Bittner.
I can answer that question. I can answer it. Elevators in place. No.
Melissa Bittner, Willow Drive, Monroeville. Hello, Mayor Biondo,
everyone attending on council, in the audience, and those joining us online. Before I begin my statement, there's something I need to address. There is a woman on council who deserves the same acknowledgement as her male counterparts. Last week, many Monroeville residents made some good points in reference to the pride display being removed from the Monroeville Public Library. For time's sake, I'm not going to repeat. I will pick up instead where the comments from last Tuesday from council members and the municipal manager. There's a lot to discuss. To the council members and mayor who are blindsided, I feel for you how frustrating that must be. There are members of council that want to make the Pride LGBTQ community about morality and values when in fact it is about biology. A pastor mentioned science, that our children should be learning science. And I'm very glad he mentioned that because they have science books at the library. In 1990, the Human Genome Project was started. Many of us had already had our science classes by that time. So this happened afterwards, hence new information. As technology has advanced, we are able to understand more of the complexities of human development. And this is where some members of council have failed to keep up. Which leads me to a statement from Neil deGrasse Tyson, an American astrophysicist. A proper skeptic questions when they're unsure, but recognizes when valid evidence is presented to change their mind. The less connected you are to what is objectively true, the less likely you will be able to make decisions that will benefit your life, the life of your family, and civilization. That's the end of his statement. Before the Human Genome Project, conventional thought stated that there was only two possibilities of XX, female, and XY, male. As technology and science have advanced, we know that's not the case. This is why, in order to fully understand this issue based on objective truth, some people, you need at least a basic level understanding of genetics and biology. Because being gay, trans, the LGBTQ community is not about choice. It's biology. Similar to how being left-handed or right-handed, there was a time in history when left-handed people were considered to have the sign of the devil because the majority of people were right-handed. Obviously, time has gone on, and we know better that left-handed people aren't evil. I'm sure my oldest sister would be happy. Sometimes there are some examples in genetics and biology. I'm doing a high-level overview here. These are just a few examples of the myriad of things that can go on. Sometimes a twin will absorb another twin in the early stages in a mother's womb. It's pretty interesting. Sometimes the set of 23 chromosomes don't replicate typically. Why? Because it's a very complex process.
No, 1 minute.
There are so many different interactions that can happen during development. You can have a person with XYY. These people will be taller than general. Not the only characteristic. Doesn't necessarily mean that all people are XYY. They also have more testosterone because they have 3 chromosomes, 2 Ys. And there are many, many other examples. Now, what really is the crux of the matter is how this all went down. There are conflicting statements from council members about other council members, and council members themselves have made conflicting statements of their own. People did not do their due diligence. I actually consulted with an attorney who specializes in this law. There are potential First Amendment violations in 2 instances, and a potential violation of the Sunshine Act.
Thank you, Ms. Bittner.
One sentence. I'm asking that the mayor and those other members of council don't let this slide. There needs to be meaningful accountability. Our government depends on transparency.
Thank you, Ms. Bittner. Lisa Shaw.
Hello again. As I stated last time, my husband's not able to be here because he's a disabled veteran, so I'm speaking again. And I just wanted to bring up that...
Did you state your name for the... Yeah.
Lisa Shaw, 201 Fair Lawn. Thank you. I'm not going off topic here, but I just wanted to bring up that I noticed at the beginning of this meeting, there's a lot of discussion about car washes and self-storage places. So this committee obviously deals with land allocation and what businesses should be allowed. Usually they don't deal with matters of the library. I mean, that's left up to the library board. But if that is their jurisdiction, I'm just wondering, on the main drag, we have many businesses that would lead our children astray. I mean, we have a Red Lobster that's front and center. And according to the Bible, we are not supposed to be consuming shellfish at all. It's a Levitical law. And then we also have Old Navy. We've got quite a few clothing stores that are front and center right on that main drag that deal in mixed fabrics. And that could lead your child astray. I mean, and children see that. They want to go in. They want to ask questions. They want to every child is curious when they see a restaurant. We've never been to that restaurant before. I mean, I'm sure that children of Jewish faith bring that up to their parents. How come I see a whole bunch of families going in there and eating something that I have never eaten? That could be very offensive to a Jewish family. Yet, I don't really see this board bringing that up. But they're starting to, I listened to the end of the session because I had to leave before the end of the session, and I heard Galatians quoted, and I heard quite a few verses quoted, and this alarms me. And the reason it alarms me is because I want to talk to you about mixing religion and government. It poses a serious risk to our democracy and our religious freedom. Religion and government each serve important purposes, but they function best when they remain separate. When government becomes tied to a particular religion, both institutions are weakened. For government, the danger is that laws can begin to reflect the beliefs of one faith rather than the rights of all citizens. This can erode the freedoms of religious minorities, people of different faiths, and those with no religious beliefs. A government that favors one religion cannot fully protect the equal rights of everyone. Religion also suffers when it becomes intertwined with political power. Instead of being a source of personal faith and moral guidance, it can become a tool for political influence and partisan agendas. Many scholars have noted that this politicization often leads to growing cynicism, which we have all seen. I mean, many people in this room have been quite angry, including Christians. Leads to cynicism. The separation of church and state is not designed to keep religion out of society. Rather, it protects every person's freedom to practice their faith or to practice no faith at all without government interference or favoritism. By keeping religion and government separate, we protect both the integrity of faith and the principles of equal justice, religious liberty, and democracy for everyone, even the children. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Dana Keener.
He has a list.
Dr. Dana Keener, Cranberry Drive, Ward 7. First, I would like to ensure that Mr. Crutt's excellent point from the library meeting is reflected in these minutes. Mr. Crutt noted the harmful impact the modeling industry has had on body image and eating disorders. Over time, The industry has responded to many of those concerns by expanding representation and promoting greater inclusivity. I appreciate Mr. Krutz's recognition that representation matters and that inadequate representation can have a real and lasting effect on young people. That principle extends beyond the modeling industry. It reminds us that we make better decisions when we take the time to consider issues from perspectives beyond our own. I am a cisgender, heterosexual, highly educated white woman, and I recognize that these identities have afforded me significant privileges. At the same time, my family's composition has given me firsthand experience with how marginalized groups are sometimes treated because my family is diverse. I have learned that imagining yourself in someone else's shoes is only the beginning. Truly listening to people whose lived experiences differ from our own is essential for anyone who holds a position of public trust. I urge each of you to consider perspectives beyond your own. Monroeville's demographics differ in several important ways from the composition of this board. When a decision-making body does not fully reflect the community it serves, it becomes even more important to actively seek out and consider other perspectives, people's voices who may be underrepresented. I hope this board will continue to ask not only how a decision affects the majority, but also how it affects those who may already face barriers to being seen, heard, and included. I urge each of you to consider perspectives beyond your own. Regarding the library display, I have personally experienced this issue from both sides. I appreciate the displays that align with my beliefs and make it easy to find books reflecting my family's values. I have also encountered books on display that do not align with my family's faith. During Christmas and Easter, for example, I look carefully through the display to find books that are appropriate for my child. Or, if nothing interests us, we simply walk by. With that in mind, I ask you to consider another perspective. Now imagine if a future board were composed entirely of people whose beliefs differed from yours, and that board decided to remove Christmas and Easter displays. While the situations are not identical, boards are intended to represent the entire population they serve. I urge each of you to consider perspectives beyond your own. Along those same lines, some have expressed feeling offended by others' actions. If those actions made you feel uncomfortable or unwelcome, I encourage you to reflect on that feeling. Many people from marginalized communities experience similar feelings of exclusion, hostility, or intimidation far more frequently and often in many areas of their daily lives, not just for the past week. Throughout our nation's history, marginalized groups have experienced discrimination, violence, and persecution, making these experiences especially significant. Remembering that history can help us build a community where everyone feels respected and welcome. I urge each of you to consider perspectives beyond your own. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, council members.
Thank you, Dr. Keener. Kara Lloyd. Dana, if you want to give your, to the court reporter.
I guess she can't hear us when her.
I know.
Ma'am, come here.
Thanks, Lloyd.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kara Lloyd, 320 Pineview.
Thank you.
I have struggled to collect my thoughts today, not because I don't have a lot to say, but because I find it so absurd that we're even here at all. My husband and I bought our first home in Monroeville almost exactly a year ago. We picked Monroeville sort of arbitrarily, and with trepidation, settled down here and started getting to know our new community. The library was one of our first stops after we moved in, and we were delighted by the opportunities we found there. The library is an important part of our lives here, and we wholeheartedly support the incredible qualified and professional library staff and board. In an effort to build our community even further, we started volunteering with the Monroeville Area Pride and Community Committee, helping to plan and execute the Monroeville Pride that happened just last Saturday. It was one of the loveliest days we've had and experienced in Monroeville. My husband and I volunteered in the children's area. We made bracelets, helped with coloring sheets, and we played in bubbles. Families of all shapes and sizes came, families of all makes and models. It was beautiful and fun and love. It was love. Like I mentioned, we're big supporters of the library and big readers. And I would encourage the council and anyone listening to start reading. Read outside of your comfort zone. Read things from perspectives you don't have. Read more and often and immerse yourself in other worlds. If you actually read the books that were taken down and allowed yourself to see from other points of view, you would find love. As a new resident to this municipality, I'm still learning how the organizations that run our community operates. But I was discouraged and dismayed to learn of the actions of the council members after the library meeting, and I am requesting a full investigation and report on the activities of June 26th and for it to be made public. I'm dismayed by a formal councilperson's comments from last week's meeting that votes in private are the name of the game for Monroeville, and I would like those procedures to be investigated and overhauled if needed as well. The community where I want to raise a family, where I want to be for many years, where I want to spend my tax dollars, where I vote, simply has to be one that reflects love, acceptance, joy, understanding, and kindness, or I won't live here anymore. I urge the council members to sincerely take time to reflect and create a future Monroeville where everyone is welcome and seen and loved. If there's one thing I know after the chaos of the last month, it's that many, many, many people want you to be accountable to those ideals. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Rosanna Weaver. And again, if you have something written, you can provide it to the court reporter afterwards.
Thank you.
It's
Okay.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, sorry.
Don't do that to Jared. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, please.
All right. Okay.
State your name and
Rosanna Weaver, 215 Sunset, Ward 5. Okay. Couple things. The library display, I support our librarians, I support the display. But a big issue that goes with the display, I want to make it very clear. I do not want religion to have any decision or vote on any topic that council has to vote or decide on. I do not want religion to be a part of that. I am not opposed to anyone's religion. Everyone can practice what they want, celebrate what they want. You don't have to live in secrecy. If you have a celebration and I'm invited, I'll come celebrate with you. I just do not want it in board decisions and in council decisions. Religion cannot have a deciding vote in anything that you vote on. As professionals, you should be able to separate your religious views from any topic that you vote on. I want to be very clear that this is not the place for it, and I'm not shaming anyone's religion or even saying you have to hide. Like I said, if I'm invited to something, I'm coming to celebrate. If it's important to you, I'll celebrate it with you. But it does not have a vote or a decision. As far as the library display, I find it very weird, everybody against this GABC book that has read it to their child, but they're against it, because I don't know any 2-year-old that's reading. And if your 2-year-old's reading, you have a prodigy, because usually that's kindergarten that you start reading, and there is like paragraphs in the GABC book, so you're not reading on that level even in kindergarten. So an adult has to grab that book, even if your child grabbed it off the shelf, an adult would have to look at it and read it. I don't know what library that some of these people are going to. I have never walked into the Monroeville Library and had librarians throw books at me or say I have to check out a book. I've never had that happen in like 9 years of attending there. Ooh, sorry. Never had that happen, so that's very odd that people are saying librarians are forcing things on them. The only people in the library that forces me to check out books are, unfortunately, my children, even though they see my bag is overflowing. That's the only people that forces me to check anything out. So I don't understand, if you don't like a book, keep moving. Don't check it out. And where are you if your children are just checking out books and are unattended in the library? Because there's clearly, you have to have an adult in the children's room. So I don't know where they are and what they're doing. As far as the library display, it gets it's a slippery slope. So you come in and you made a decision upon yourself to take down the display. So are you going to do that in Black History Month because it goes against something that was posted on a council member's Facebook page? Are you going to be against Black History display? Is that going to be forced down because it conflicts with someone's view on council? Are you going to then attack women's history because it might go against the patriarchy? Are you then going to force them to take that display down? Are you going to attack every holiday display that I have checked out books from? Are you going to go after all the Jewish displays and Passover and Hanukkah, the Christian displays, the Muslim displays, the Hindu displays? Are you then going to decide what displays can go up? Leave the librarians alone. Let them do their job. They are the professionals.
Back just a little bit.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Don't mean to be yelling at everyone.
You're
Sorry
okay.
if I was too close. They are the trained professionals. Let them do their job. I've attended so many cool events at our library because we're not average. And I enjoy sharing memories and creating memories with other community members. Like I said, if there's a celebration, I'm coming. If it's important to you, I'm celebrating you and I'm coming. So Holy, that's my favorite holiday at the library. I don't practice it at home. It's not part of my faith. But I love celebrating it at the library. My children love it. We have it down to a science. Wear goggles, wear the white stuff over top, get a towel, shake off before you get in the car. Now we have it down pat to a science how not to, spread powder everywhere. But I love going to all of the events that they have. Even a financial literacy event, we still have the how to learn the nickels, the dimes and stuff, a little silly song that you sing, even something like that. So all of the events. I've even attended a Hanukkah reading at the library where my kids got to make oil or something. So leave the librarians alone. And instead of threatening to defund them, increase their budget and give them raises. Because that children's room can be wild, as it was already mentioned. The children, they're running around. And we're saying, use your walking feet. So give them raises because they all do an excellent job.
Thank you, Ms. Weaver. Georgiana, you're up now, or do you want me to put you at the end? Ms. Woodhull, you want to go now or you want to go at the end? I'll just keep moving. Eric Bentley.
Eric Bentley on Evergreen Drive. I do want to say thank you to all the elected officials here. Whether someone's speaking agreement with you or not, there's a lot of tension and anger in the room sometimes. So I appreciate you sitting here and listening to everyone, whether you agree with them or not. I do want to say, in case you don't know me, I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran, wounded in Afghanistan, husband, father of two. I coach soccer in the area. I lead the Boy Scout troop. My wife lives Girl Scouts, and she's a middle school teacher. You'd probably be hard-pressed to find someone more active in the community. With that being said, rather than give new arguments, because I agree with all of the pro-display and pro-LGBT stuff, I would rather respond to some arguments that have been made, because I think they're made either in bad faith or just bad arguments, period. The first I would like to say is, when they talk about it's too heavy of a topic for young children, I have 2 points to make about that, which the woman who spoke before me also mentioned. If they're too young, they're not picking out the book themselves. That's a parental choice anyways. My kids ask to watch movies that are inappropriate, and I tell them, no. When you're older, you can watch that. If they are old enough, then you're probably old enough to have that conversation. Also, if you want to remove that because it's a difficult conversation and not age appropriate, remove any of the books about grief, divorce, disability, parental death that are in the children's section currently. I don't believe they should be removed, but if you are not willing to remove that stuff also, then it's not really about that. It's about personal beliefs Second, it's also been mentioned, freedom of church and state. We are not a Christian nation. We are not a Christian municipality. There are several religious leaders here that can attest to my love and appreciation for people in their religions, despite not being religious myself. This is not a religious body, and it's not a religious choice to make. You are welcome to your own opinions, but that is not something that should be represented in government. The third thing is I would like to remind you that you are representative of your wards. You are not up here for your own personal decisions. You are not up here for your own personal beliefs. You're here to represent the wards that you live in and the consensus derived from those wards. So with that being said, please consider looking outside of your own personal beliefs. I see the rest of my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thank you,
your
Mr.
service.
Bentley. Emily Mitchell. Emily Mitchell. All right. Joe Bertucci.
I think he left.
Mike Bear.
Mike Bear, Ridgeview Drive. I spoke last week. I don't think I need to rehash my feelings on the decisions that were made by certain members of the board. If I may, I would like everyone, and this goes for council members and the folks in the gallery, take a moment to close your eyes and try to remember the day that you woke up and decided that you were straight. You probably can't, and not because it was oh so long ago, but because being straight isn't a choice. I never decided to be straight. I just realized that girls were cute. No one wakes up and decides to be gay either. They just are. Straight or gay, you cannot dictate who you love. You love who your heart falls for, like I did for my wife 30 years ago. I have two brothers, both in their late to mid 60s, and both are gay. They never decided. They just were. There were no books depicting gay or same-sex couples or parents that swayed their preferences, no woke agenda. They just were. Books about gay people and couples do not make people gay. Just like reading a book about penguins does not make a person a penguin. Too many members of our LGBTQ plus community die by suicide because they don't feel like they belong. They feel ostracized by their community, their friends, and sometimes even their parents. Having a few books in the library that shows a family like their own is not an agenda. It's inclusion. It's showing them that they are represented and that they are okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bear. Miranda Tompkins.
This is chicken scratch.
That's okay.
This is chicken scratch.
That's all right. Just we'll put it in the fridge. Sharon's a master.
Can I talk?
Yeah, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Miranda Humphreys. I live at 1316 Hillsville Drive. I've been a member since I was born. I go to the library frequently. I constantly go after school for the teen program. I don't understand why taking down the display was a choice not made by the people, but by somebody who may or may not have involvement in our community. When I went there today, there was books about Jewish people, about neurodivergency. And when I read them, I wasn't indoctrinized to be Jewish. I didn't turn autistic because I read them. So why would reading a book turn your child gay? Some people argue that we don't want to teach our kids sex at an early age, and I understand completely. I agree with that. I don't think that kids should be shown sexual orientation at a very young age. But then why show straight couples hyper-feminized characters, hyper-masculinized characters, and say that that's fine, but whenever it's same sex, it's a problem? I'm bi. I realized that at a young age. That's not a problem for me. Some kids it is, and I'm very sad that not everybody is able to have support. Those books could have showed them that they mattered. Those books can show that you matter, that you're valued. It hurts me to know that people in our community are being stripped of their representation because some other people are not okay with it. If you don't want your child to read those books, that's completely fine. That's not the problem. The problem is that you're taking away that ability for kids to even open up the book. Most of the time, I don't think they'd even glance at it. I don't really like to read. Most of the kids there, especially me when I was younger, would go and play with the blocks and the magnets and the friends, not really read. But those books are there as a way to teach the kids in an appropriate manner. If a parent wants to teach their kid about LGBTQ+, those books are there to help them introduce it. If you do not want your child reading that book, then monitor what they see. Monitor your child. Parent your kid. Don't just let them do whatever they want. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Humphreys. Greg Arasinko.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
My name's Greg Arasinko, and I live in Elmwood Street here in Monroeville. I would like to address a couple of comments concerning Councilman Crutt. Most of you here do not know him on any level other than you see him sitting up here. He's a family man, like many of you, or probably all of you, and he loves them dearly. You all know about his service to the country when he was in the military, as well as when he was a police officer and the head of the detective division. Without men and women I'm tired. Without like men and women like Mr. Crutt, no one would be safe in their community. Nobody. Without them, our country would fail. The comments, and I want to call them outrageous comments, concerning Mr. Crutt and others that supported him, I would hope you would think that. This is a good man. His family, every time he walked out the door, serving us, could have been his last day, or he could have been severely injured. How many of you sitting in this room would do what he did? I would bet 99% would not. So please rethink about what you said about this man. It's terrible. I'm going to move over to the library. And it's going to fit in, if you will. You know, the library is similar to the Water Authority and the Convention Center. The municipality, truly, the manager, has no authority with the Water Authority, no authority with the Convention Center. Now, it's been said very clearly by everybody that supports the library that the board of directors, under the law, as well as the employees, are under their direction. If one group or one person, a resident of this municipality, files a lawsuit to have all the tax dollars removed from the library, I really think, under the way the law is written, they stand a very high chance of winning. You don't have to take my word. Do your research. The thing I'm going to ask council is, please have an executive session maybe the next time you all meet, and I would like you to talk to your solicitor. Now, if I'm wrong, I promise you, I'll apologize to the library staff, the board of directors, and the residents of the Monroeville. But I don't believe I'm wrong. The way it is written, Mr. Graziani has no authority to direct that paid staff by this municipality, discipline or remove. Again, you don't have to take my word. Please consult as an executive session with your solicitor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Aracinko. Briefly, I'll just say Lindsay White was the smartest person in here because she put her name on 2 sheets, but she already spoke. So we're going to go with Rosalind Daly. Lindsay White? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. White.
on the phone like 100 times.
Why do I have you? Okay, I apologize.
Lindsay White. I am the pastor of Crossroads Presbyterian Church. My address is 2132 Ramsey Road, and that is my personal address, not my church's address, because I live in this community, and I'm a citizen of Monroeville, and I'm a mom who goes to the children's library regularly. And my children actually are ages 1 and 5. I'm sorry he's not here to hear this, but, and we read the GBCs, and I had absolutely no inappropriate sexual questions that were asked as a result. In fact, I think it saved me from a couple of difficult questions because it gave me age-appropriate answers for them. I am here because I believe in Monroeville. I moved here 6 years ago to raise my children in a safe and wonderful neighborhood, a neighborhood full of diversity and kindness. I believe in that, Monroeville. I believe in a neighborhood where my children, and this is true for today, can play until the streetlights come on, drink water from the hose, and move freely around each other's yards with safety. I believe in that community for my white children, and I also believe in that community for brown, black, Asian children, for children in Pitcairn and Garden City, for disabled, neurodivergent children, and yes, for children who have 2 moms or 2 dads, who are raised in unconventional families and have multiple generations, and for families that look like mine too. I believe in a Monroeville governed by democratic processes, governed by the people and for the people, where voices can be heard and issues discussed as adults through appropriate channels and in mature ways. I'm the only Presbyterian pastor here, and in the PCOSA, we say that things should be done decently and in order. And so if we're throwing around Christian values in a secular world, that is a value I would like to see. I believe in a Monroeville with pride displays and patriotic displays side by side, because I'm more of a patriot when I defend my LGBTQ neighbors. I'm more of a patriot when I remember and celebrate my queer neighbors who have served, fought for this country, and died for this country. I am more of a patriot when I fight for the freedom they fought for and died for. And my neighborhood is better when it is shared with the queer community. And if you scoff at this statement, you should have observed the Pride event on Saturday. I think it may be one of the best events I've ever attended since I came to Monroeville, and it's the only event in Monroeville where the registration table included safety measures to make sure my children didn't get lost. To make statements to local media that imply that there is an either patriotism or pride is a fallacy. I love the diversity of Monroeville, and I believe that it is what makes us a special place to live in. I have the honor to serve on the Monroeville Interfaith Ministerium, who I do not speak for, but I'm grateful to serve alongside. I believe in a Monroeville that lifts the voices of all of these religious groups, and I believe it is better when Christianity is accurately represented. You may hide behind your beliefs about the LGBTQ community, but do not call them Christian. Get Jesus' name out of your mouth, because that hatred is not a representation of Jesus or Christianity, and I will not allow hate speech to be spoken in the name of Jesus without a fight. I believe in a Monroeville that looks more like the teachings of Jesus, where he left the 99 to find the one, where he put sinners and Pharisees at table together, where both zealots and tax collectors served as his disciples. If we're going to talk about Christianity, then let's talk about Jesus, and I will be happy to have a beer with anybody who wants to talk.
I believe in Monroeville. I believe in a community of love, kindness, and unity, not of hate speech, abuses of power, and forced uniformity. I believe in a Monroeville where our elected officials do what they were elected to do and are held accountable for their actions. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend White. Rosalind Daly.
Good evening. Rosalind Daly is my name. I live in Monroeville. I'm going to start by defining the word divergent. It's an adjective, and it means departing or receding from each other, like lines that proceed from the same point, but they go in different directions. It's opposed to convergent. I also want to define the word diverse, different. Anybody here not diverse? I've heard a lot of words tonight used with such power, and they don't mean anything because they're backed up by judgment that isn't deserved, that isn't educated or informed. A lot of presumption. I hear a lot of minds that are filled to the full with no room for something new. A lot of words that are accusing others of the very things that they're doing. I only hear the word hate coming from the side that accuses me of hate, mocks me for loving the Word of God, calls themselves a Christian while hating the Word of God and not even hearing their own contradiction. Just pure blindness. It's sad. It's really sad. And I can tell you for years, people like me don't speak up because they sense the mockery, they sense the scorn, they sense the superiority, while being accused of making them feel lesser, they demean me. And I don't say me to mean me, only me, but to mean those who think like me. It's just hypocrisy. And I don't know what to say because I don't think there's anything I could say that would help. It's just sad. Because the truth is, everyone is lovable, everyone is dear, but no matter how many times I say that, they would never believe me. It's very sad. And for years, we haven't spoken up, Christians. Yes, Christians that love the Bible, believe it, and stand for it, have morals, and believe this is a Christian country. Because they've read the founding fathers, they've read the words. They know that the Bible was the most used book in the writing of the Constitution. The most used book. The ignorance is palpable in this room. It's very sad. I was going to speak about divergent sexuality. I wanted to define that word to show it just means receding or departing from another source, because that's what's being promoted in the library. And those who read the Bible know that there's a spiritual battle going on, and we can't play around with these things. We've played around with them for years, and we're a mess. We don't know what's up and what's down. Like the words to the prophet Jonah when he went to Nineveh and he was in his religious zeal. He wanted God to destroy them because they had been so evil, and then God decides not to destroy them. And Jonah feels sorry for himself and sulks under some bush with big leaves, shields him from the sun. And he was so angry with God. And then the next day, the Lord let that big leafy plant just wither. And he wasn't protected by the sun anymore. And he was just super angry at God. And then God said to him,
30 seconds.
we're in a city here. We're in a city where there's 50,000 people who don't know their right from their left. I doubt God yelled like that. I'm just a little upset. He said they don't know their right from their left, and you're worried about this plant. Basically, don't you know I care for them? They had repented, and God did not kill them, and Jonah was mad. You know, this is where our culture is today. We don't know our right from our left. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Daly. Jazz Sexton. Jazz.
Good evening. My name is Jazz Sexton. I live at 209 Caldwell Avenue, but I pay taxes in Monroeville. I don't want my children to know about straight people. I see books on display that depict children with one mom and one dad. Why do I have to have it shoved down my throat? You hear how ridiculous that sounds? All right, here's my actual statement. Last week and this evening, some speakers commented that children are too young to learn about gender identity and romantic preference. Some asked why children should be introduced to these concepts at all. So I am going to explain it to you. Would everyone here tonight please think about how many times before the age of 10 you were told you can't wear that, it's for girls, or you can't play with that, it's for boys. How many times have you said similar phrases to the children in your life? Were they too young to learn your definition of how men and women should act? When your newborn child or grandchild was in the hospital nursery, were the boys color-coded with blue and the girls with pink? Or maybe the pictures of race cars for boys and flowers for girls. Did you think the babies were too young to be categorized by masculine and feminine interests? I ask you this to illustrate that humans are introduced to gender ideology from the moment we are born. Just because heterosexual and Christian ideas about gender are common doesn't mean they are not ideology. Ideologies that demand rigid structures of manhood and womanhood with no in-between are harmful to everyone, especially to young, developing minds. When you were growing up, how many times were you insulted by being told, you throw like a girl, or called a for showing vulnerability? How many times did you make those insults? How many times were you groomed to believe girls and queer people are inferior to straight men? I used to work at the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh in Oakland, and we had a program called Drag Queen Story Hour. The entire reason that program existed is because parents asked for it. Even straight parents, I lost my place. Even straight parents asked for a program to introduce their children to alternative forms of gender expression. The program was canceled in 2019 when the library received threats because I guess someone couldn't stand that children were learning about kindness and self-acceptance. So that is why introducing children to expansive ideas about gender is good and necessary. These books give children the language they need to understand themselves and empathize with their peers. The confidence to accept themselves in a country where queer youth are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers. These stories reinforce positive ideas about gender, romantic preference, and equality. And these brave people who are here tonight and those who were here with us last week To support the library, defend free speech, and defend the rights of the queer community to exist in public, we'll always be here to write our stories, share our stories, and live our stories, because we are part of the rainbow, and a rainbow has no end. I want my taxes to support the library, and I want the children in my life to see LGBT books so they know the library is protecting them and their freedom to be whoever they are in front of others. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott McQuiston.
That's added stuff.
That's okay.
Scott McQuiston. I live on Cottonwood Drive in fabulous Ward 7. I spoke about the library last week. I'm not going to speak about it again. I don't want to talk about any more of that gay stuff. Instead, I'm going to talk about the Pride Festival this past Saturday. My first Pride here in Monroeville. It was incredible. I bought a gay candle. I did a little gay candle. I saw drag queens who were talking about we have to lead with love. I'm old school. I'd rather lead with a brick like the original Stonewall, but sure, we're gonna lead with love because that's what's constantly shown on us. But my favorite highlight was when I saw our mayor there. Ooh, I gotta tell you, I squealed like a little gay boy when I saw you walking down the road. I'm like, that's my mayor. He supports us. Funny, I didn't see a whole lot of the rest of you there. But I saw our mayor, so good on you, sir. And that's what I wanted to mainly say. It was so great seeing that. You know, I was kind of a little sad earlier when so many people were talking about how they were getting death threats. And I gotta say, I haven't had the best of responses to my speech last week. A lot of a lot of threats again, a lot of slang. But I tell you, I'd rather be than a fascist.
Thank you, Mr. McQuiston. Nicole Scott.
I didn't write anything down, sorry.
Nicole? Yeah.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm back. My name is Nicole Scott.
Thank you.
245 Willow Drive. I want to talk to you today about a story that's really important to me. It's about my Jeju, my Polish grandfather. He spent years studying in the seminary to become a Catholic priest. Life took him in different directions. He joined the Marines. He became a family law attorney and helped raise 7 children and later helped to raise me. My grandfather was a man of deep faith. We had many conversations and sometimes spirited debates about religion. His beliefs were strong and they guided his personal life. And he also understood something that has stayed with me my entire life. As a lawyer, he represented people whose decisions don't always align with his personal beliefs. He handled divorces, including cases involving infidelity. I'm sure there were moments when he disagreed with the client's choices, yet he understood his responsibilities was not to impose his faith. His responsibility was to uphold the law, honor the Constitution, and serve his clients fairly. He believed the same principles applied to public office. Every member of this council has a right to their personal faith. Every resident has the right to quote scripture and express their religious beliefs during public comment. Religious freedom is one of the greatest freedoms we enjoy in America, but our government exists to serve everyone, not just those who serve one religious belief. Government decisions should not be based on, or government decisions should be based on the Constitution, the law, and the equal rights of every resident. Monroeville is home to Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, atheists, agnostics, and people of many other beliefs. We are also homes to LGBTQIA+ residents and families. Every one of those people pay taxes. Volunteers in our community, shops in our local businesses send their children to our schools and deserve equal respect from our local government. The library exists to serve all of us. The mission is to provide access to information, literature, and ideas that reflect the diversity of our community. A display recognizing Pride Month does not require anyone to change their beliefs. It does not prevent anyone from practicing their religion. It does not violate anyone's constitutional rights. People are absolutely free to disagree with the display. That is part of living in a free society. But disagreement is not a reason for government censorship or intervention. Last weekend, I had the privilege of attending Monroeville Pride as well. And I did see the Pridalorian. Despite months of hateful comments, misinformation, and hurtful rhetoric directed towards the LGBTQIA+ community, what actually happened tells a very different story. Families laughed together, children played together, neighbors met one another, local business showed off their support. People of different backgrounds came together to have joy, kindness, and community. It was peaceful. It was welcoming. It was filled with love. There was no chaos. There was no threat to public safety. There was simply a community celebrating that every person deserves dignity and respect. That is the Monroeville I know. One of the beautiful things about America is that we don't have to think alike to live together respectfully. And we can disagree, practice different religions and no religion at all, and it still defend one another's rights. And that's what makes democracy strong. Tonight, I ask each of you to remember who you represent. You represent every resident of Monroeville. Please continue to support the public library that welcomes everyone and reflects the diversity of the community it serves. Let's choose inclusion over fear. Let's choose fact over misinformation. Let's choose the Constitution over religious division, and let's continue to build a Monroeville where every child, every family, and every resident knows they belong.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Georgiana.
I was.
All right, Lois, you want to go first? Go ahead.
I bet, well, I didn't sign, but Lois.
Just sign in now. Or do you need a sheet?
Can you write Lois Drumheller? Thank you. Lois Drumheller, Scott Drive, where they're still putting in gas lines, but they're doing a great job. I came here to speak on something I was going to speak on last week, but because of the momentum, I decided, okay, I would weigh in on the library. But this is really the subject that I wanted to bring up. Cypress Equities, and just to recap for those who might not understand that entity. Cypress Equities is the real estate agency based in Texas, and they are working with Walmart. Walmart purchased the Monroeville Mall, I think it was in February of 2024. Am I a year ahead or a year behind on that? I think it was in 24. And they purchased it for $34 million. During that time, there were 142 merchants in the mall. I right away had interest and started writing people from Walmart. And what it ended up making my email do is find its way to Mr. Scott Harrington. He's the managing director of Cypress. He is the person that came here last October 14th, 2025. So if you look up those council meetings, you will see that he came here, and I was actually hounding him, and I'm not sure whether the municipal manager, Graziani, did that or I did, but I said, look, you need to talk to us because we have a lot of interest in Monroeville, what's going to happen with this mall. And you need to at least say that there's a plan, and that plan is inclusive of people in Monroeville. He did. He came on that night. He was very quick in and out. He reported that Cypress Equities felt confident that they would have a plan within the next couple of months. And because he had been asked by the public to meet with the public to disclose that information, that would be coming up in a couple of months. And of course, that was October of this last year. And I'll back up a little bit further from that October point of 2025. The year before, June of 2024, after he saw my email, I met him along with the municipal manager, Alex Graziani, at Panera Bread. And Alex said, well, if you don't want me here, I won't. And I said, no, I'm so glad to see you here. Please join us because I would like to find out a little bit. And he was interested that I had my questions in hand about some of the real basics that we need to move forward. He had a lot of that stuff in the form of a portfolio, which is sort of what he was telling people in October of this year, that the mall would be, taking maybe a little bit longer than they anticipated, but they had this version of a town hall. He described it. He gave examples. When I was in Panera Bread, he was showing all of these things, and he liked the fact that he says, well, maybe you could just continue to communicate about this and, you can update council. Well, I'm happy to do that. I asked him I actually thanked him after that October meeting, and this was in November, correspondence by email. And I began to be told that, well, we'll be having this meeting at some point in time. That turned into months and months. And when I pressed hard enough, I basically was told I was going to be invited to a Zoom meeting, which was the way earlier in this year. And finally, when that didn't happen and another few months went by, I said, look, where is this Zoom meeting? Why haven't you at least had a plan? Before you have a site plan and you come in front of this municipality, you need to have these public meetings, which you've already promised in writing. And he said, well, we'll let you know about that when we're ready. And that's pretty much handing me my hat at that point. So I was patient enough to wait a few more months, and I finally told him through another email that, look, I'm at the point where I'm tired of not getting answers here, and that when I go to the mall, and of course he encouraged everybody to go to the mall, to continue to shop there because the stores are open, not only the anchor stores, but a very cool store that is down by the annex where you come in by the Japanese restaurant called So Cool. And in fact, I got a great outfit and I wore that. And I wore that to the Saturday affair that was Pride, and it was great. But he just has not had any response. These are people who now have such few number of people trafficking through the mall that you might get one person to come into your store. If they didn't have Dawn of the Dead one weekend, several of them would not have made their rent. Now, mind you, Cypress Equities is still charging them per square foot, $80 a square foot, or maybe more or maybe less. But they certainly can't expect people who have zero traffic going through there. And you can't expect when somebody says, oh, look at where I got this. It's So Cool. I went into Macy's. I went to JCPenney's. Well, I didn't think the mall was open. We've gotten to the point now where people don't believe the mall is open.
Thank you, Ms. Drumheller.
Where the merchants are being asked to pay rent.
Thank you.
And it's not representative of the traffic of people going through that mall. And I want you to think about that because we're driving them out of business.
Thank you, Ms. Drumheller.
These are people who are at the mall.
Anybody else for public comment? Go ahead.
Hey, Georgie.
Hi, my name's Georgiana Woodhull. I live at 4560 Broadway Boulevard. I usually come up here and slam my book bag or whatever I have down. But tonight, I'm just here to ask you to put the fire under the feet of Cypress Equities. I walk that mall 3-4 times a week asking what's going on in the mall. And I went to Spectre Dolce's not long ago, a couple weeks ago. I walked in, and to one of the people working there, he said, are you here for your honey? I said, yes, I'm here for my honey, and I'm here for gift certificates to donate. And then the woman came out for the back and she said, this is our last day today. They closed up, abruptly closed up, and now I can either go to Westmoreland Mall. That's just one instance. Again, this dress I'm wearing was bought at So Cool. This is not fair to the people that have kept this mall open. There's hardly anybody in that mall. So I'm asking you to, Mr. Hizzy, Mr. Poach, whoever, to put the fire under the feet of Cypress. Also, I wanted to know if anybody here knows Jeff, Plauche, Managing Director for Walmart. No? Okay. Well, I'd like, as I said, I don't know how much more time we can give them to come up with a plan. They're doing that development over at the old Westinghouse, and that development is actually, from what I understand, I know that I had called Mr. Wilden, it is actually being done by the same company that sold Walmart to Cypress. And that development they're putting in over there is exactly what we would have only prayed for to have here in Monroeville. I don't think it's ever going to materialize, but I would ask you again to put the fire under their feet. Let those people in the mall know what's going on, because there is no traffic there other than me and a few people walking in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Woodhull. Anybody else for public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment, and let me find my sheet. I think we're on council member reports. Mr. Hizzy.
A couple things. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Very appreciative and informative. Second of all, getting back to what I said last week, Bell left already, but I was the president of the 4th of July parade, and a lot of respect for everybody at work for that weekend we had. A lot of respect. And I thank everybody. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Poach.
Joe, you took the words out of my mouth, because I know you wouldn't let me thank you before, and I was a little tired last week to do
So
that.
was I.
Because that really included all the people that have been involved in that, too, that we always forget about. A lot of times the 22 doesn't magically change from one lane to others by itself. The Public Works guys are always on top of that. There's extra law enforcement working this year on top of that as well. And also personally, even from the Recreation Department, we forgot to talk about Paul and Dana and Danielle and the work they did Friday and, over the weekend too. So I did want to remember that. I had two questions. Is Miss Elizabeth Scott from Harvard still here?
No, a lot of people left.
Could be Elizabeth Smith.
Smith, I'm sorry. She's not here. All right, I'll follow up with her too, because she'd asked a question about something being moved next to the elevator. I've been the library representative since I came in since the elevator was created. Nothing was ever restricted or moved or anything that was in place related to that as well. I can tell you that. I'm not sure. Sounds like a little bit of miscommunications on there. At one point, prior to the elevator being there, again, we're going back 8 years, folks, too. There were some LGBTQ materials, which is the first thing that I ever got involved. People asked me about it. They were in a different position, and I said it was to my left from where it is today. That was before the elevator was there. If that was the confusion, I apologize, to do that, too. So that really didn't happen. I'll be happy to. I've been to her house campaigns. I know where she lives. So I'll follow up with her to make sure she has that. The other thing I was promising was we talked about cost per capita of individuals relating to library and costs. And first of all, understand this is an important statistic, not because, and this statistic is developed because it's related to the grant funding that comes to the library from the state in particular, so that per capita cost is in place. And I'm not sure how everybody gets to the same number, and I can see how it's a mistake. First of all, one thing that not everyone understands, when we start talking to the state regarding funding that comes to us, we also include Pitcairn because of the school district. So we get an extra 3,000 people added into that. That is to our advantage. And that's one piece that's been in place for a period of time. But then some people believe the cost is really high because that includes the monies and the donations and the grant funding. It does not. So there's almost $20 of that per capita cost that is removed out of that. I was close. I thought when I was doing math last week, but they didn't let me take my shoes and socks off. Do that. I was close. I was a little bit low on it. So our cost per capita that we report to the state as the per cost capita is $46.77 per person in that service area too. So that was a number that I promised I would find for you. But that's reported, and it's always based upon the annual census, service area, and a boatload of information that I could not even explain to you quickly because it took me like 6 months to even remotely understand how it's calculated, to do that too. So that's the most accurate cost that we report to the state on it. But other than that, one last thing. I was going to bring this up before to do that. Completely different topic to folks. Stop throwing your lithium batteries out in the trash, okay? So that Paul's garbage trucks, our garbage trucks, do not catch on fire, in particular in front of my house, to do that weekly. It's really a serious problem. We're at least 2 of them, and since more in the last couple of weeks, since this couple. So we had a couple of weeks in a row. Believe me when I tell you the act of compacting them is a very, very dangerous thing. If it is in the trash that you hide it or see it, or your electric bikes, please don't do it, okay, as well. Honestly, it may seem silly to do that, but it's actually true. Okay, so please don't. That's enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poach. Mr. Washington?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I keep trying to put like a speech together, and there's just so many things to say about all of this going on in our community. So I'll try to be brief because I have one mouth and 2 ears. I'm trying to listen more than speak. To be clear on where I stand on this whole issue, I think I stated it last week, and I don't know why people are still confused, but I very strongly support the library and their autonomy to function however they see fit. Joe Markosik is my appointed person. I didn't appoint him, love the guy, but he's on the library board for Ward 3. I very strongly support the LGBTQ plus. There's an A&I in there, I know that. I haven't memorized it yet. Very strongly support you. I wanted to read some things. When I first heard about the removal of the display, I really didn't know all that was going on. So those of you asking about a process, well, someone was alerted to how I felt, or some people were, and I was not included in any of the conversations whatsoever until I got an email saying that it had been removed. So I wrote an email to council, to whoever was on the distribution list. And I don't do this often, write lengthy emails to people about things. Because again, I try to say little and listen more. But just to be clear, I wrote, "This is very sad to hear, and with only 4 days left in June." To be clear, I do not support the effort to remove the Pride display at all, not even a little bit. Apparently, citizens believe there was a vote taken. If there was, I never cast my no vote. So that's where I stand on it. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. But for those of you unaware, I have many LGBTQAI plus friends, family, and acquaintances, and they're wonderful, interesting people. The reason I wasn't at the Pride for Monroeville, which I really wanted to attend, is because I was with several of my LGBTQ friends and family doing family things because it was my birthday weekend. So I hope to make it. I hope to make it maybe next year. So I just want to be clear on that. I am a Christian. I am a Catholic. I grew up in Pitcairn. I was an altar boy at St. Michael's Catholic Church for Father John Flaherty. I was also his paper boy. I've read the Bible front to back, along with many other religious documents, and what's the right word? Books. Oh, we're talking about books again. But anyway, I'm going to be very happy when we can get away from talking about all this religious stuff here, because I know there's a solution to this. I know there is. And it really boils down to understanding. And I'm talking about both sides. I mean, I'm very much in support of the LGBTQ plus community, but what we have to do is really try to understand what the heck is going on here, and I'm sure we can come to some kind of solution moving forward. All these people that have spoken, does anyone have a degree in early childhood development? Have we heard from anyone? Oh, is that what you said? You were a doctor. That's right. Okay, here's one down here. Okay. Because I'm just kind of interested in, if we had people speak, that know the field we're actually speaking about it. I try to make it a habit to wake up happy and not look for things to make me angry. Because I learned this a long time ago, reading many other books on these subjects. When you show anger towards someone, you give that person the power to control how you feel. And this is just advice for the community in general. Monroeville community. And then your feelings affect your behavior, and you get into that cycle. Now, I am not the best person to be preaching that, because when I drive, I get so mad at people. And my kids tell me all the time, let it go, let it go. So I just wanted to be clear about a lot of those things. I am not going to get into bad-mouthing anybody publicly. I have opinions, many, many of them. Guys that have coached with me or done things with me know how I feel about a lot of things. It's not my place to get up here and preach my personal opinions to you. I'm up here to try to make good decisions for Monroeville. I'm a reasonable person. I have strong opinions, and I keep them to myself. I think I've run out of things that I want to mention, but I just wanted to get some of that off my chest. But the whole transparency and communication thing, I mean, that's key to this board, this council, this government, your neighbors. I mean, it really is. It's the key to a lot of things. So, thank you for listening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. Mr. Crud.
No, I wasn't going to say anything because I'm trying to be considerate of my colleagues here. But after Mr. Washington's comments, I just want to clarify that I talked to or tried to talk to everyone on council about this issue. Not you, but councilman. I messaged Mr. Washington on the 19th on Facebook. I sent him, and the reason I did on Facebook because that's where the library's post that was sent to me was posted, and I sent it, and I said, hi, quote, hi, just wondering if you think this is appropriate. The next day, John replied, I think it's just fine. Is it appropriate to ask me? ? Have a great weekend. Peace sign. I responded, thanks, sorry, but I can't imagine why it would be inappropriate to ask. Majority of council thinks it's not appropriate for children. I thought it would be fair to let you weigh in. Hoping you have a great weekend also. So when John says that he was left out of it, it seems more to me that he opted out. I did message Allison, but I don't know that she saw the message. Talked individually with Mr. Williams, Mr. Adams, Mr. Hizzy, Mr. Poach and I talked. He invited us to the board meeting, or did I ask to come? I don't remember which.
You let me know you were coming.
Okay. some here have implied there was some sunshine law violation, particularly one person that should know better. My understanding is if you have a majority of council that meet and discuss an issue, that would be a violation. I never spoke, ever, to more than one other council person at a time. And in fact, by the time and correct me if I'm wrong, by the time Mr. Graziani went over to the library in regard to the display, he had only heard from me and Mr. Williams. He came back that day, I think it was a Friday, and my understanding is Mr. Hizzy showed up here to discuss it with him, and he told Joe, I already talked to Nicole. Mr. Adams called Alex to talk to him about it, and he said, I already talked to Nicole. There was never a vote. There was no secret anything going on. Certainly didn't think it would turn into this brouhaha that it has. But, so just to put that to rest, that is how it happened. Now, under the home rule charter, from what I'm told, Mr. Graziani is the boss of every Monroeville employee. The library employees are Monroeville employees. So that is where I believe he felt he had the authority to talk to Nicole about that. Now then, there's also this state library code, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It lays out a different plan for how libraries are supposed to be set up. So that's going to have to be resolved as to what is the legal proper way for the library to be structured and function.
You have a plan, I'm talking
So I have Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Adams.
Nothing.
Mr. Williams.
Well, every one of us has the right to speak our opinion. This whole thing started, we was never against the gay community. We just were against the kids being targeted in a display. And I'm still against that. Leave our kids alone, and that's enough said. Thank you.
Ms. Ramsey.
I want to, last week when I brought up the All-American Weekend, I forgot to mention thank you to the Monroeville Foundation for all the work that they did with getting stuff ready for it. And I also attended the Pride event on Saturday. It was a great event. My daughter, my husband, and I went. We had a great time. We listened to the music, watched the twirlers and the sheets. They were pretty cool. And that's all I got.
That's your councilperson, Scott. Jared, do you have the video?
Yep, we have it.
Can we play it? So I just wanted to thank, I do think our police and our public works people, the Monroeville Foundation, everybody put a lot of work into the 4th of July. We know you guys have been here for the last couple weeks, and this is a topic that needed to be discussed. But they are owed a great gratitude for what they do. Public Works is out there early on the 4th of July, setting up. They did a great job, and especially the guys at the park did a great job setting up for the All-American Weekend. The police are out there all day. This is a holiday that these guys want to spend with their families, and they do have they deserve to be honored and recognized for what they've done. There we go. Thank you, Jared.
Weekend, please have a wonderful 4th of July. Have a wonderful 4th of July.
How's your audio on this? I'm going to talk about this a little bit after this.
75th, what it means to us is this. It's 75 years ago, post-World War, they saw something was going to happen in Monroeville. The highways hadn't been built yet, but they saw it coming. And here we are today with amazing community.
It's just tremendous that the United States has been around for 250 years, Monroeville for 75. I'm just kind of lucky to be the guy that's the mayor the year that Monroeville happened to turn 75. It really is the people behind us here that have allowed Monroeville to just thrive for these last 75 years.
It's great to be in community and remind one another why we're proud to be Americans, and really reflect on the fact that, you know, our history is not just something we read about or go to museums to see. It's something we're still writing, and we write with every community event, every community investment, every act of service that we do today helps shape our future.
You know, there's been a share change, but, you know, Monroeville seemed to be able to regroup with that and go and move forward, which has always been what we've wanted to do.
Oh my goodness, the parade was amazing. There were so many people here to celebrate Monroeville.
It's amazing to see the people's faces.
We're here to celebrate living in America.
It's great to be part of this, to be alive during the 250th birthday of our country.
I'm talking about it's a good day and happy 4th of July. Come on in, Monroeville, we love you.
Thank you, Jared. Yeah, I mean, it does take a lot to put that on every 4th of July. And everybody that played a part in it deserves recognition. Like I said, Public Works, the police department, the Monroeville Foundation, our 4th of July board, which I am no longer a part of, but Mr. Hizzy and Ms. Warning do a great job putting it together. And Mr. Nola said something back in the 7 o'clock hour that I have to respond to. It's not his job to defend Monroeville, but it is my job. And if I can start with, just bear with me for a minute here. I don't do this a lot, but I went and saw George Washington, or Young Washington this weekend. Not about John Washington, but about, and happy birthday, by the way. But about George Washington, and there's a lot of local flavor to it. It's Fort Necessity, and then the Braddock. Nina Vecchio was here earlier. She was a former Braddock council person. That's where Braddock comes from. Braddock's defeat. General Braddock's defeat. Well, I got a book out of the library, believe it or not, and it's called To Risk It All. It's about Forbes's basically taking of Fort Duquesne. They abandoned it anyway. I won't get into all that, but the very beginning, and I just saw the movie this Sunday, so I'm only like 50 pages or so, but the very beginning sets it up, and it talks about, you know, diversity, and I know we've heard a little bit about diversity here, and diversity at that point in time meant different types of Christians. They talked about the Quakers and how the Quakers, Pennsylvania couldn't raise an army because the Quakers were in charge and they were this pacifist people. But, you know, diversity has changed over time, over the course of the 250 plus years, because that was before the founding of our nation. You know, now diversity includes women. Women weren't included in diversity at that point in time. It includes the LGBT community. It includes the gender, gender diversity. But there's also, we talk about diversity, but we also need to talk about inclusivity. They're not one and the same. Diversity is one thing. Inclusivity is a different thing. And I think here in Monroeville, we have both. We are a very diverse town. We have mosques. We have Hindu temples. We have a number of different Christian churches, and a number of the leaders of each of those churches were here. And look, Monroeville is a place for everyone, and I think everybody sitting up here wants to keep it that way. We love it. We love Monroeville here, and we even though I disagree with Mr. Cretton and Mr. Williams sometimes, they still love Monroeville. They want to do what's best. I just disagree with what they believe. We want to be an inclusive. I'm sorry.
What do I believe?
With maybe not your belief. With what you decided was the right thing to do. In this instance, correct. And so you're throwing me off here, Bill. But I think we do want to be an inclusive community, and I think we are an inclusive community. I also had the opportunity to attend the opening of it was a salon in it's actually next to DePel and Phantom of the Attic on 22, and this was a Jamaican lady who had lived in America for about 30 years. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she chose Monroeville to open her business, to pursue the American dream. I think we still have that here in Monroeville. We are a very inclusive community. Whether it's, like I said, whether it's you're Christian, you're atheist, or whatever. And I just want to continue to be that way. Everybody is welcome here in Monroeville. Everybody's welcome at the library. And with that, I'll get off my soapbox and
Motion to adjourn.
ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned.